Hokage give me a face, Chapter 61-80. Chapter 61 The Satisfaction of Hatake Tsukumo. The next afternoon. A villager was planting rice in the field, and after a while, a nearby villager stepped over from his field. Ichiro, listen to my mother-in-law, did you take all your savings to buy cloth yesterday? Yes, I feel that a terrible world war is going to break out this time. I guess that some countries will close foreign trade transactions at that time, so buying cloth in advance, whether it is sold at a higher price or used by yourself, is cost-effective. Feeling, guessing. Ichiro, are you just guessing all of this? Of course, I read books for a few years when I was a child, and I have some understanding of these. I thought about it for a long time and found that the land of water cannot grow textiles such as cotton, so I bought fabrics in advance. He put down his hoe and wiped his sweat, with a big smile on his face, a smile every spy must learn, with natural enthusiasm and closeness. However, this man did not get close to the other party's smile, he just glanced at the other party with pity, and sighed softly, Ichiro, it's not that I look down on you, but... If you guessed right, those big businessmen, the big man still can't guess. You are good at everything, just this confidence. Hey. The man shook his head and went back to his own fields to farm. The guy named Ichiro just smiled brightly and said proudly, I went around the city this morning. Maybe you don't know, the price of fabrics today has risen from 100,000 to 110,000 boxes. Quote. Ah. The spies used different methods to publicize in various cities and villages, and this time, some people were finally willing to buy cloth. The owner of the fabric store also quickly brought back some goods from the countryside and suburbs, and sold some at the price of 110,000 boxes. Of course, in the evening, in the Mie City fabric store, the 10 captains gathered again. This time, Hatake Tsukumo's face finally improved, but the doubts in his heart deepened. Through publicity and price increases, a small number of people finally came to buy. Today our store sold 5 boxes, and other stores should be similar, but there are still very few people who buy them, and those who have been swept away by us. The owner of the fabric store pulled a cart from the suburban inventory and sold it. With their competition, the tens of thousands of boxes of fabrics we hoarded will never be sold out. Quote. Sold out. So you don't understand, I never said that I want to sell cloth now, Tsukumo, don't worry, just watch. Believe in my plan, believe in the eyes of the dead monkey, he trusts me so much, you still what's there to be afraid of? I'm not afraid, I'm just... Okay. Yizan raised his hand to stop Hatake Tsukumo's explanation, he raised his chin confidently, and his voice became calmer, tomorrow, the price will be raised from 110,000 to 120,000 boxes, the same way, sweep them all in one go. When buying cloth, make sure your expressions are in place, so that the shop owners can feel your enthusiasm. Quote. As ordered. The next day, 300 Anbu disguised as civilians again, and soon ran out of cloth in the shop. Civilian spies continue to publicize, and as the price of cloth continues to rise, the effect of publicity is getting better and better. More and more people start to envy the spies who bought cloth for 100,000 yuan, and many people go into the city with money to buy cloth. However, when they entered the city, they found that the residents in the city were already lined up in front of the fabric store, and even the fabric store belonging to Yizan in each city was full of people. Haha, this trick is really good, these people have come to buy it, Xiaoshuan, hurry up and sell it. Hatake Tsukumo said happily. Yes, Lord Zan, now is the best time to sell. The merchant spies number 104 and 105 were also excited. No, we don't sell any of our goods. On the 105th, you immediately go out and tell the people outside that all the fabrics are sold out today, but we will ship the fabrics for sale tomorrow. If you want to buy fabrics, ask them to come and buy them tomorrow. What, Xiaoshuan, you speak less, do less, see more. Yizan glanced at Hatake Tsukumo lightly, and was so angry that he was suffocated in one breath. Then he seemed to think of something, and Hatake Tsukumo's heart moved, and his face showed enlightenment. I understand. You are so publicized today, you will make these people who can't buy cloth go back and wait, and while waiting, you will also call more people to come to buy cloth. In the early morning tomorrow, our ANBU members will go to sweep the goods again. If someone queues up earlier than us, we can increase the price and buy it at the price of 130,000 boxes. Once this price is formed, we're going to sell a lot in our own store, right? As expected of Minister ANBU, he's still a bit smart. Yizan praised softly, which made Hitaki Tsukumo smile, and a sense of satisfaction rose in his heart. No, why am I satisfied? Hitaki Tsukumo was stunned for a moment, only to realize that he was like a child, and would be happy when he was praised. He looked at Yizan suspiciously, and then found an emotion called smiling in Yizan's eyes. Damn, a big man, was actually amused by a 7-year-old child. Thinking of something, Hitaki Tsukumo's face changed, and he immediately turned to look. Sure enough, all 10 captains were holding back their laughter, which made Hitaki Tsukumo even more sad. My name forever. He lowered his head reluctantly, desperately wanting to find a crack to get in, but at this moment, Yizan opened his mouth, and the hateful voice came into his ears again. I'm sorry, my minister, in fact, everything you guessed just now is wrong. Hitaki Tsukumo. Chapter 62 _ Smash the price. 5 a.m. _ Every fabric store in every city in the land of water is lined with people. At 8 o'clock, the fabric store opened, perhaps due to the inertia of the previous continuous price increase. When the door was opened, the store owners almost said the same thing. Today's price is 130,000 a case. What? 130,000? Didn't you pay 120,000 yesterday? Yes, boss, if you do this, believe it or not, I go to another store to buy it. The civilians were making noises, but the shop owner just sneered, turned around and walked into the shop. If you can buy it in another store, please. At that moment, the noise disappeared, and the civilians looked at each other, but no one was willing to go to another store to inquire about the news. Just kidding, you and others finally got in the front line, and once you leave, will you still be able to grab the cloth? Thinking of this, the civilians at the front swarmed in immediately, and everyone's faces were full of excitement. Boss, I want 3 boxes, give me 3 boxes. Boss, give me 5 boxes. Go away, this is mine, boss, I want 10 boxes. The shop is so narrow that only a few civilians can go in and snap up purchases at a time, but because of the late arrival, the civilians in the back immediately complained loudly, and a few people even clashed and fought fiercely. However, no one noticed that not far from each fabric store, there was a civilian with a cloth box standing there. He smiled, and walked slowly to the person who was fighting. The sound was not loud, but it entered the ears of the people around him. I said, you guys, why are you fighting and queuing here, This one also sells for 130,000 yuan. You have been deceived. The price of the cloth I just bought at the number 1 store in the North District of Commercial Street has not increased at all, and there are many, many more. The goods, like yesterday, only sold for 110,000. 110,000. Boy, are you kidding us? Hey, teasing you. You ask around to find out, when did Ichiro Hanazawa deceive people? After he finished speaking, he looked up not far away, and immediately raised his voice and shouted, there, hello. Brother Hayes, it's me, I'm Wazi. You guys go to the number 1 store in the North District and buy it. There are 110,000 boxes of cloth over there. The 2 brothers not far away seemed to be very familiar with Wazi. After hearing his voice, they turned around and walked towards the North Commercial District. The sudden appearance also attracted the attention of most of the people in line, some of whom were in the back immediately. Leave the team and run towards the North District. Go quickly, no matter whether this person is telling the truth or not. We are so late in the line, the fabric has already been sold out, it is better to go to the North District to gamble. Not only one place, you must know that Yizan's fabric store is full of any island in the land of water, and more people are running towards Yizan's store, hoping that they are lucky and can use the price of 110,000 boxes. Buy. A day of madness, a day of boiling. At 10 o'clock in the evening, the Mie City fabric store, Hataki Sakumo smiled wryly again. I really don't understand what you think. You can sell a box of 130,000. Not only did you not increase the price, but you also sold it at a price 110,000. It took us nearly a month to receive 40% of the goods. In one day, 10% is lost. Quote. It can't be called a loss. Don't forget, our purchase price is 100,000 boxes. If you can't even afford this, then tomorrow. Tomorrow, could it be that you? Well, tomorrow the price will drop from 110,000 to 100,000. All spies cooperate with Anbu's propaganda. Are you crazy? Do you know that doing this will make us lose a lot? The price of 110,000 is sold for 10% in one day. If it is 100,000, at least 20% will be sold tomorrow. No, Sakumo, you don't understand business, and you don't understand psychological knowledge. Just do as I say, and you'll know tomorrow night. It was difficult for Yizan to explain clearly, so he simply ignored Hataki Sakumo and issued an order to the 10 captains. And Hataki Sakumo was also extremely dissatisfied. He kept his face calm and began to doubt whether Sarutobi's support for this plan was correct. Because of the hype the day before, the second 1010 had not yet turned on, and many civilians were gathered at the door of Yizan's shop waiting for the door to open. Today's price, 100,000 boxes. With the voice of businessman number 105, chaos suddenly appeared in the commercial street of Bay District, Nishi City. Wow, 100,000 boxes, ha ha ha, boss, give me 7 boxes. Boss, I want 3 boxes. The crowd was excited, but at some point, a different voice appeared in the queue. Yamada, I don't think it's right. They sold 130,000 the day before yesterday, but yesterday this store dropped to 110,000, and today it's even 100,000. Tell me, will we continue to cut prices tomorrow? Will we lose money already? Why is the price cut? Wouldn't the war break out? Even more fabrics will be imported. Could it be that this store has an inside story? The abrupt voice seemed a bit harsh, and it attracted the attention of a dozen people around. Their enthusiasm seemed to have been quenched by a basin of cold water. They calmed down and thought for a while, as if they felt that there was some truth, and subconsciously told their friends who came together. Some people believed it, some people didn't believe it, and among those who didn't believe it, some people bought fabrics with all their funds, while some people hesitated and only bought 1 to 2 boxes. Even if I really lose, I just buy this amount, and it won't be a miserable loss, right? The idea of the crowd has changed. It is no longer so enthusiastic. The number of buyers has decreased a lot, and the number of purchases has also decreased a lot. That night, Hataki Sakumo gave a big thumbs up, expressing his conviction. Xiaoshuan, you are so amazing. You didn't even sell half of the goods today. You actually expected this situation. I admire it. Hey, it's all said. Please believe me, I'm a genius. Yizan raised his chin proudly and raised the empty teacup in his hand. This time, Hataki Sakumo did not refuse, but raised the kettle with admiration and made a cup of tea for Yizan. Then, he frowned and thought for a while, then asked cautiously, so tomorrow, is it time to increase the price? No. Quote question mark. Continue to smash it tomorrow, and smash it into 90,000 boxes. What? Chapter 63-Spy Reverse Plan. 90,000 boxes means that Yizan himself has lost money. Under Hataki Sakumo's completely incomprehensible gaze, Yizan gave an order firmly. With the crazy prices of Yizan's fabric shop, the commoners who bought fabrics became more and more afraid. They did not dare to buy, for fear that the price would keep falling, and the commoners who bought fabrics with 130,000 and 120,000 before regretted it. Not only civilians, but the owners of other fabric stores are also about to collapse. They quickly changed the price to 90,000 boxes. Even so, few people dared to buy it. After another day, Yizan gave an order, and the price dropped again, becoming 80,000 boxes. This time, not only Hotaki Sakumo, but also the two merchants number 104 and 105, as well as the 10 captains, could not understand. They wanted to refute, but Yizan suppressed everyone's doubts with the discipline of following orders. As long as Hotaki Sakumo didn't take back the command, Yizan's orders would always be valid. Will Hotaki Sakumo take back command? Of course not. Leaving aside whether Yizan is a nonsense or not, if there is no such plan, Konoha will perish sooner or later in the face of the siege of the Four Kingdoms. Although he questioned every day, he never thought of taking back the command, because he had an illusion in his heart that Sarutobi's vision was correct, and Yizan's plan was well thought out, but he just couldn't understand it. From 130,000 to 80,000 in one go, 4 days have passed. That night, the 10 captains gathered again, and this time, Hotaki Sakumo just sat down on the chair with his head down, like a puppet without any response. Sakumo, what are you doing sitting stupidly? Why don't you guess what I will do next? Yizan's tone was relaxed, even with some teasing. At that moment, the oppressive atmosphere dissipated, and Hotaki Sakumo also raised his head silently. Guess the action. Oh, maybe you want to buy something, frantically. He said casually, and the 4 days of mental torture almost made him lose his illusions. As expected of Minister Anbu, he is a bit smart. Okay, don't tease me anymore, can you just say, although you are smart, but everything you guess is wrong, in one go? No, there is luck, but you guessed it right this time, Tilda. What? I said, you guessed it right. Yizan chuckled. He stood up and took a few steps back and forth, and then said to Hotaki Sakumo, everything in the world is constantly changing, and business is the fastest changing thing. There is no commodity that will rise forever, nor will it last forever. Commodities that are falling are like a spring. My actions for the past 4 days are the process of constantly pressing the spring. Look at today, except for a few crazy gamblers who imagine that prices will rise in the future, almost no one comes to buy cloth. This means that, the spring has been pressed to the ultimate, the next step is the spring rebound. Quote. Bounce. Well, tomorrow, half of the Anbu disguised as civilians will go to the fabric store to buy goods. Everyone will work harder. Everyone will go to a few more cities, go to a few more stores. Everyone should not buy too much in each store, so as not to arouse the shopkeepers' awareness. Shopkeepers are no better than ordinary people, they are much smarter. Yizan paused for a while, then continued with a slow breath. Anbu, the other half, go to the homes of residents in various villages to collect cloths. First collect in 80,000 boxes in the morning, and reduce it to 70,000 boxes in the afternoon. When collecting, tell these people that war there will be no fight. The land country has reached an agreement with the water country to promote commercial trade, and there will be more and more conferences in the future, and the price will continue to drop. Quote. Will they believe it? HMPH, the price of cloth falls every day, and no one knows how much it has fallen. Now is the time when the market is most panicked. Even if they don't believe it, they can't restrain their fear and sell because they are afraid that the price of cloth will continue to fall. Remember, fear is one of human instincts. And my plan uses 2 human instincts. 2 instincts. What is the other? There's another kind of. Hee, you'll know when the time comes. Yizan blinked his eyes mischievously, and Hotaki Sakumo almost vomited blood. He stared at Yizan fiercely, and growled angrily, little brat, do you know that half talking is too much? I know. Yizan nodded dumbly and said with a smile, I did it on purpose, Tilda. You. Hotaki Sakumo clenched his fists tightly and kept gasping for breath. He found that he had been angry more than 20 years in the more than a month of the mission with Yizan. He snorted coldly, finally unable to bear Yizan's teasing. His figure flashed, and the sound of whoosh disappeared without a trace. After Hotaki Sakumo left, Yizan finally stopped teasing. He sat down again, took a sip from the teacup, straightened his face, and frowned slightly. Just now, my brain flashed, and I thought of a good way to further enhance the perfection of the plan. The 10 captains, after a while back, tell the civilian spies in your coverage area, and from tomorrow, let them try their best to persuade the people around them not to sell cloth. Yizan's sudden words shocked the 10 captains, and one of them took a step forward and asked suspiciously, Master Zan, don't we want to buy cloth at a low price? Why do the spies object to the people around them selling cloth? Seems to contradict the plan. This is a very simple reason. For example, suppose you are standing on top of a mountain with a cliff in front of you, but this cliff may be made by demonic illusion, but if it is not demonic illusion, you will die if you take a step forward. Undoubtedly. And at the back, there is an iron nail in the ground, stepping on it will hurt half your life. What would you choose? I'll probably choose to step back. It's better to be injured than to gamble with my life. If it's a cliff, wouldn't I be doomed? Yes, this is the same principle as selling cloth. Selling to us at a loss means stepping back. Although you are injured, you will still be left with half your life. If you don't sell it, if the price of cloth continues to fall, it will drop from 80,000 to 10,000. Even a few thousand, isn't it all worthless? Then, listen to me first. Suppose you have a friend who tells you to move forward. The cliff is just demonic illusion. What would you choose? I will see if the relationship between the two sides is good. If it is a life and death comrade in arms, I will believe him and step over this cliff. That's right. The spy told everyone not to sell it, but they really won't sell it. Unless you have a good relationship with the spy and are willing to believe in the spy, you won't sell it. There are very few such people and can't have any influence on the acquisition plan. But afterwards, I will forcibly raise the price of the fabric, and at that time, these spies will become the object of everyone's worship, and they will get a group of loyal followers. Chapter 64-Spy Hanazawa. By Crazy Acquisition. The formation of the entire country of water began to rotate. Yizan didn't move, and neither did the 10 captains, but the team surrounding the 10 captains began to rotate continuously. For the price of 80,000, this store collects one case, and that store collects another case. When the fabric stores in the whole city are finished, they will immediately go to the next city. The shop owner didn't notice any problems, because everyone who came to buy cloth was wearing sackcloth, and they didn't have a familiar face. Buying one box at a time can only prove that these civilians have a sense of crisis. As long as they don't buy in large quantities, they will not alert them. Due to Yizan's continuous price hike, almost no one dared to buy cloth. Everyone thought that the price would fall, and the shop owners also sighed. In their hearts, even if they lost money, as long as they could sell 80,000, it would be better than continue to fall well. Half of the Anbu buys the fabrics of the shop, and the other half of the Anbu buys frantically in various cities, towns and villages. 70,000 boxes, love to sell or not, anyway, the price will fall even more in the future. And Anbu's face was arrogant, without the kindness of the buyer, but his performance not only did not make people disgusted, but made people feel close. Brother, I have 3 boxes, can you buy them all? 3 boxes. Wait, I'll see if I have enough money. Anbu finished speaking, pulled the drawstring of his waist bag away, pretended to look at it, hesitated for a while, and said again, I don't have much money, so that's it, you call your relatives and friends, and I will charge as much as I can see. If you don't sell this time, you won't have the chance to sell it in the future. Not a good attitude, but it is sought after by the common people. The appearance of Anbu seems to be the last straw. Such scenes continue to occur all over the country, and the so-called, I don't have much money, the money in my pocket will never be exhausted. After all, ninjas have storage scrolls. While Anbu's acquisition was in full swing, another voice was heard everywhere. Don't sell it, brothers, believe me, the price is about to go up. Hanazawa Ichiro exchanged glances with Anbu in front of him, then turned his head again, and shouted to a group of civilians who were about to sell fabrics beside him. Brothers, it's been so many years, have I lied about Hanazawa? You have to believe me, now is the lowest price, wait until the price rises before selling it. Quote. However, Ichiro Hanazawa's words did not get a response from anyone, especially the guy with the worst temper, and even more sarcastically, Hanazawa, we all know that you are a person who is trustworthy and loyal. But this time it can't be solved by your loyalty. Everyone is a farmer. Why do you think the price will rise? Do you think you are amazing? Smarter than all of us? Big dog, listen to my explanation. Don't explain. If you are so powerful, why are you still farming here? Go away. You are already crazy. Don't take us crazy together. I bought these cloths for 110,000, and sold them at a loss of 70,000. I got it. I don't want to lose everything. 110,000. I bought it for 130,000. Hey, I went to line up at 4 o'clock in the morning and grabbed the first few, but after I bought the cloth, I learned that the store in the North District sold directly for 110,000. I'm really unlucky. Auntie, you're lucky, I didn't go that day. I went to the North District to buy it the next day. I bought it for 100,000 yuan. I only bought 2 boxes. Now I sell it, and I don't lose much. My luck is better than yours. I went yesterday and bought it for 90,000 yuan. I didn't think it would be a loss, and no one knows how much the price will drop. I might as well sell it at a loss and treat my family as suffering. Thief. A group of people kept talking about their misfortunes, ignoring Ichiro Hanazawa directly, and the Anbu buyer glanced at Hanazawa gloatingly. Although everyone was a Konoha ninja, when the nature of the task was diametrically opposite, they naturally felt in their hearts. There was a hint of comparison. Big dog, auntie, forget it if you don't believe me, don't blame me for not reminding you. HMPH, Wazi, go away, you are not welcome here. The big dog stared at Wazi with a sneer on his face. Wazi, we won't blame you, I'm a bunch of old bones, I really don't want to lose everything, just lose a little bit, at least I can buy a coffin when I die. If you don't want to sell it, just leave, you can persuade other people, come on Tilda. The hostile eyes of everyone made Wazi feel a little sad. Although he was a spy for Konoha, he usually had a good relationship with these folks and neighbors. I didn't expect that these people didn't trust him at all. For some reason, Wazi suddenly remembered the mission issuer. Although these spies didn't know the whole plan, they always followed the plan. As expected of Lord Zan, who can overwhelm the minister, no wonder he can get the command of the entire Anbu. Just sitting in Sanchong City, he knows the situation in the whole country, and his grasp of people's hearts has reached a state of ecstasy. But, Lord Zan, what is the meaning of the tasks assigned to us? Wazi was confused, but there was a feeling of challenge in his eyes. He wanted to challenge Yizan and challenge Yizan's control over people's hearts. Go all out. I will use all means to stop the villagers from selling cloth. Anyway, this is the task I took on. Even if more people are prevented from selling it, Lord Zan won't blame me. Probably. Bar. Chapter 65_Don't sell. Reporting to Mr. Zan, the acquisition plan of Aomori City is very smooth. Reporting, Mr. Zan, the acquisition plan of Iwate City is very smooth. Reporting to Mr. Zan, the acquisition plan of Yamagata City is very smooth. At 11 p.m., the house was full of enthusiasm. In just one day, not only did you get back the low price of the previously sold goods, but also more. It seems that these people are scared. Xiaoshuan, why did you predict so accurately? Hatakesakumo's face admired, looking at Yizan's eyes more and more appreciative. Don't brag about me, it's nothing, it's just some small predictions. Hatake Sakumo even more because he was not arrogant, but in the next second, Yizan suddenly raised his head, grinned and laughed, because I'm a genius, ha 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 ha. Hatake Sakumo. Well, anyway, today's victory is indeed rich. In just one day, they purchased 40% of the country's fabrics at a price of 70,000 80,000. The original 20% of the goods have soared to 60%. Become. Just when everyone was overjoyed, a team leader suddenly took a step forward and said hesitantly, Master Minister, Master Zahn, there is something happening today, I don't know if I should report it to you. What's the matter? Yizan was stunned. Did something go wrong in the plan? It's like this. In the island I'm in charge of, there is a member of the Shadow Army named Hanazawa Ichiro, who keeps stopping the villagers from selling cloth like crazy. Although the effect is not very good, many people choose to believe him. The number of villagers he stopped alone was more than the number of villagers who were stopped by dozens of team members. I was thinking, if he did this, would it affect Master Zahn's plan? Should he be dealt with as a violation of discipline? Oh. The captain's words surprised Yizan. He didn't know that Ichiro Hanazawa just wanted to challenge himself. After all, he and Ichiro Hanazawa had never met before, and he didn't know what kind of person the other party was. Yizan was silent, and everyone present thought that Yizan was going to punish Wazi. Hatake Sakumo sat on the side with a cold face. He was very dissatisfied, not against Yizan, but with the Shadow Army he had worked so hard to build. He didn't expect that at the moment of Konoha's life and death, there were actually members who didn't obey the discipline. The atmosphere in the room was very dignified, everyone was waiting for Yizan to make a decision, and the time passed minute by minute. It was not until a few minutes later that Yizan raised his head and said, mention this person as the civilian captain of the spy unit. What? Everyone was stunned and their eyes widened. They did not expect that Yizan not only did not punish Wazi, but also promoted the other party's position. I know everyone's doubts. I don't know about this person you are talking about, but he did not violate discipline. Don't forget, the task I issued is to let them stop the villagers from selling, but I don't know why this person is so passionate, but with him around, my extra plan is more perfect. Quote. Yizan said with a smile, picked up the pen on the table and started to write. After a while, a large piece of paper with full words came out. Take it to Ichiro Hanazawa, and ask him to follow the order on the paper. As ordered. The captains were puzzled, but did not continue to ask. After all, Yizan was their boss, and they had no right to ask Yizan to explain. Also, we have already received 60% of the country's fabrics. The time is almost right. Starting tomorrow, all Anbu will be sweeping the goods in various fabric stores. Villages and urban residential areas are also divided into people to sweep the goods. Isn't the current price 80,000? How much will be swept tomorrow? If they don't want to sell, they will raise the price to 100,000. Quote. As ordered. On the second day, the entire water country was a sensation. It seems that the fabric is in short supply again. All the shops, all the villages, all the streets and alleys, there are people collecting the fabrics. In just one morning, the fabric stores in various cities have been swept away. The smart shop owners immediately sent people to pull the cloth from the suburban warehouse to sell it. This time, instead of selling it at 80,000, they raised the price to 90,000. What is 90,000? Buy. Scan directly. The arrogant behavior shocked the bosses with ecstasy. Until 5 p.m., the third batch of goods arrived from the suburbs. The buyers who pretended to be Anbu didn't even think about it, and swept them all at the price of 100,000. Not only shops, but also all villages and towns are the same. In some places, residents are unwilling to sell at 80,000 yuan. Anbu raised it to 100,000 in one go, and warned everyone that if they like to sell or not, just 100,000, an extra 1 cent. Neither charge. For a time, the fabric business became active again. Those who sold fabrics with 70,000 yesterday felt remorse. Some smart and daring people even went to the city to buy fabrics. Unfortunately, when they came, the fabrics in the store had already been bought by Anbu. Late, if you want to buy cloth, you can only come back tomorrow. I told you all, don't sell, you don't listen. When did Wazi cheat you? In a certain village, Ichiro Hanazawa stood at the entrance of the village and shouted, and all the people who sold the fabric yesterday regretted it. They looked enviously at the person standing next to the flower. This group of people just believed in the flower and did not sell the cloth. People. That. Brother Wazi, yesterday was my big dog's fault. I hope you don't care about the villain. Can you tell everyone that the fabric will rise tomorrow? Gentle, he smiled and asked Wazi shamelessly. It doesn't matter, big dog, everyone is friends from all over the world. I have never blamed you. I just hope that everyone will believe me this time. The price of fabrics will go up. Friends, don't sell those that have fabrics now, and those that don't. I will go to the city to buy cloth early tomorrow morning. I have never cheated on people, trust me. Quote. After Wazi finished speaking, some villagers finally believed it, but more villagers still didn't believe it. Seeing this, Wazi's eyes flickered, and he turned around and walked along the path to another village with someone who trusted him. Master Zan is worthy of being Master Zan. I'm really stupid. Yesterday I tried to challenge him with my stupid intelligence. I didn't expect that at the beginning, everyone was taken into account by him. This extra plan works perfectly with the collapse of the Water Kingdom, don't worry. Well, Mr. Zan, I, Wazi, will work hard to follow the plan and live up to your expectations. Chapter 66_skyrocketing. Unsurprisingly, the store owners raised the price from 100,000 to 110,000 last night. Even if it was 110,000, the civilians were very enthusiastic. Seeing that the time was right, several Anbu squeezed in the crowd spoke at the same time, and instantly pulled the price to 120,000. Boss, let's go first, we'll buy cloth for 120,000. Soon, the national uniform price was raised to 120,000, and these Anbu, who shouted the price increase to buy cloth, only bought 1 to 2 boxes, as if it was just a show for everyone to see. And on the third day, the price skyrocketed again. Directly increased from 120,000 to 140,000. Seeing the rising prices, the commoners were not afraid, but bought cloth more enthusiastically, and those who bought cloth at 100,000 and 120,000 were even more ecstatic. In any case, they also made a fortune. I don't know when, the civilians finally began to trade with the civilians. Those who bought it for 100,000 thought that 140,000 was the top and wanted to sell it for 140,000. Some people thought that the price of cloth would continue to rise, so they bought the cloth from other people. Yizan's shop was also selling, but they sold very little, even less than other fabric shops, and everyone didn't ask because they knew that Yizan was sure. And Wazi, who was awarded the civilian spy captain by Yizan, gathered more and more people around him. It's not that they really gather around him, but they trust him, stand by his side spiritually, and more people follow his actions. Boss Waze, the price has risen so much, why don't we sell it? What if the price falls? It was Wazawa's neighbor, the big dog, who used to be angry with Wazawa, but now he has become Wazawa's #1 pony and a loyal fan. In Waza's team, most of them were people who didn't sell at 80,000 at first, and those who joined later were bought at 100,000 minus 120,000. Facing higher and higher prices, they gradually wanted to sell the goods to gain profits. If you don't sell it, everyone should not sell it now, and the price of the cloth will go up. I, Waze, won't fool everyone. Since you choose to believe me, you will believe it thoroughly. Wazi's words encouraged everyone. They continued to hold the cloth and did not sell it. However, there were always some people who wanted to sell to make a profit, so they stopped listening to Wazi's words and quickly sold their cloth. Boss Wazi, It doesn't matter, there will always be people who will leave my team, but as long as most people believe in me, my efforts will not be in vain. Wazi was indifferent, comforting the big dog like a magic stick. He patted the big dog on the shoulder, and a piece of paper full of handwriting appeared in his mind again. On paper, prestige cannot be established in a short period of time, only time can prove right or wrong. Master Zan predicts things like a god, and even predicted the situation of someone leaving. At first, I tried to challenge Master Zahn with my IQ, hey. Quote. Thinking like this, his admiration for Yi Zan became more and more fanatical. He just clenched his fists and vowed to himself that he must complete the task set on the paper. Hanazawa was right again. Another day passed, and the anbu hadn't even been dispatched yet, and the price of cloth soared to 160,000. Although there was no push from anbu, but because of the enthusiasm of the people, in the afternoon, the price of cloth continued to rise, and soon exceeded 170,000. It's almost there. Tomorrow, all anbu will be mixed into the civilian population and will be shipped. Whether it is 170,000 or 160,000, they can sell as much as they want. This was a new order for the night, so on the second day, all anbu started to sell goods, and transactions between civilians did not need to queue up, and anbu sold goods 10 times faster than the store. Big dog, I feel that the current price is almost the same. Let me know and sell all the fabrics. Whoever wants it will sell it to whoever wants it. Remember, this matter is only allowed to be known by our own people. Want to join my team? In the anbu operation, the spies also began to act. You must know that not only Waze has a team, but every city and every island in the country has civilian spies, and there are a group of loyal followers. Wazi was the most desperate and the only one who was appreciated by Yi Zan and had additional tasks. In just one day, Yi Zan used the store and anbu to ship at the same time, and sold 20% of the goods in one go, and because the price of fabrics rose too high, the most enthusiastic group of people had already received the goods from Yi Zan, and not an extreme fanatic, and reluctant to pay high prices. Hey, 80,000 goods were received, and now 20% of the 160,000 goods have been sold. The remaining 40% of the goods. Smash it, drop the price to me. Yi Zan's new order was like a flame of hell, which soon burned to the entire country of water. The next day, the price collapsed like an avalanche. Collapsed. Completely collapsed. 160,000, 150,000, 140,000, 130,000, 120,000. In just 3 days, the price of fabrics has been smashed again, and the civilians who bought it at a high level are crying without tears, and various stores have also continuously lowered their prices, and they can sell a little bit. However, just when the price plummeted, the civilian idol Hanazawa stood up again. He raised his hands high and exuded infinite charm. I, Wazi, never lie, believe me, it's already the lowest price. Everyone, go and buy it. But this time, no one still believed him, and even those who had followed him were not as firm as before. Boss Wazi, it only dropped to 120,000, why should you buy it again? Wait until it drops to 80,000 before buying it. Big dog, I guess, the price can't go down this time, if you believe me, buy it with me. But not many people followed him to buy. After all, 120,000 was too far from the previous low price of 80,000. Everyone thought that the price was still falling, and the number of people in Waz's team was instantly reduced by half. The crowd left, Wazi was expressionless, he turned and left decisively, a sneer appeared on his face. A bunch of idiots, Master Zahn has mastered all of your fears from the very beginning, are you still waiting to fall? Humph. Chapter 67 _ lift it all up. Haha, let's take a look, this is the information reported by Wazi, but everyone wants to wait for the price to drop to 80,000. Ha 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 ha, they don't know at all, everything they think they know is I deliberately let them understand. In the bright room, Yi Zan laughed and handed the letter to Hitachi Sakumo. Hitachi Sakumo was a little moved, but more confused. Xiao Zan, don't you want to smash the price tomorrow? Instead, start the acquisition. But the price of 120,000 is not worth the acquisition, right? Not worth it. Why not worth it? Yi Zan took a sip of his tea, his slightly teasing gaze forced Hitachi Sakumo to tilt his head. I'm right, obviously I can hit 80,000 yuan, but you don't. What's wrong with me? Hitachi Sakumo choked back unnaturally, and was slapped in the face by Yi Zan continuously, and he even lost he had the courage to look at Yizan. There's nothing wrong with it, anyway, with your IQ, it's nothing to say. You. Hatake Tsukumo's face froze, and the 10 captains held back their smiles again. He glared at Yizan viciously, his figure flashed, and he disappeared again. Hatake Tsukumo left. Yizan finally turned his face. He frowned and thought for a while, then seriously asked, "Ask everyone, when this mission is over, will I be revenged by our minister?" "Sirzan, I don't think I will take revenge on you with the demeanor of the minister," a captain said in a naive voice, but he couldn't help but smile. "Reporting to Master Zan, I think the minister will definitely take revenge on you. You don't know, the minister has always been an extremely ruthless and powerful ninja in our hearts, but he has been beaten crazy by you for more than a month." Everyone was talking and laughing. After getting along for more than a month, everyone's relationship became more and more harmonious. After a while of chatting, Yizan finally talked about business. "Most of our goods were purchased for 80,000 yuan. The first time it was sold out, we bought a lot for the price of 100,000 yuan. Although we also bought some of the subsequent prices, but because of the high enthusiasm of the people, we bought the price without much money. Push it up, around 160,000, we sold a full 20%, 140,000 minus 120,000 and another 10%, and now we still have 30% of the stock, so from tomorrow, all of you will buy again, 120,000 also well, even 110,000, I will give you 1 day to absorb 50% of the total." As ordered. The next day, Anbu started the acquisition operation again. Since the price stabilized at 120,000 minus 110,000, it did not continue to fall. In addition, with the efforts of Wazi and civilian spies across the country, more and more people joined the buying team. On the third day, seeing that the hoarding of goods reached 50%, Yizan finally took action and used a large amount of funds to violently raise it again. Unlike before, in just one day, the price of fabrics soared from 120,000 to 150,000. On this day, Yizan received a full 20% of the goods at a high price of 150,000. Hatake Tsukumo was worried that the goods were too much stocked and could not be sold out, but Yizan was not affected by any emotions. This time, he finally dispatched the spy businessman who had been idle for a long time. All the spy businessmen after the 20th of the Shadow Force, all dispatched. "The order I gave you is very simple. You have been doing business in the land of water for many years, and you have gathered a large number of contacts. Now you are publicizing the news that the fabric is about to skyrocket, no matter what means. Just convince your merchant friends and are willing to come and buy cloth." Civilian spies also sent orders to call on all followers to buy cloth. Lao Su absorbed 70% of the country's cloth, and the remaining 30%. "You will do your best to raise the price for me. Everyone, this book will be on the shelves at 12 o'clock tonight. I hope everyone will order for the first time and continue to support the cute little by C. The collapse of the water country will end in 2 to 3 chapters at most. After so long, it will finally be a bumper harvest. Close black lens bracket. Chapter 68 _ Have you ever experienced despair? The whole water country is boiling. The fabric was soaring, and the merchants who didn't pay much attention to the fabric were also called together by the spy merchants, and used the method of, "I have an insider," to make these merchants trust. Spy businessmen can take root in the country of water, and they must have their own wisdom. They call friends and tell everyone about the upcoming huge profits. They are old friends and partners for several years. These businessmen have no doubts at all. Recently, the fabric market has indeed been booming and plummeting, and soon, businessmen put some funds into it. Rise, rise, rise. The commoners were crazy, the merchants were crazy, and the fabric store owner was crazy. After only 3 days, the price of fabrics had skyrocketed to 250,000 boxes. Shipping. Yizan gave an order. When the whole people were crazy, Yizan's shop and Anbu began to deliver goods quietly. In just 2 days, his inventory dropped from 70% to 30%. After selling 40% of the goods at the price of 250,000, Yizan stopped all actions. The market has eaten up so many goods at such a high level. He believes that without his own promotion, the price will come down soon. As expected. 255.47 million, 260,000, 265,000. The price increase was getting slower and slower, and people's enthusiasm finally began to decrease. There were many 250,000 people who bought Yizan's goods. In the attitude of, earn and run, they began to sell goods at 260,000, while businessmen, spies and civilian spies also operate at the same time. Brothers, it's time to sell the cloth. The price has doubled, and I don't think the price will go up again. Never lie, trust me, and sell all the cloth. Wazi's words quickly spread in the team, and immediately, a group of loyal fans immediately sold out the goods in their hands and made a lot of money. Compared with the team of civilian spies, the team of businessman spies is even more terrifying. These businessmen have a lot of money, and each of them buys goods that are comparable to hundreds of civilians. They are scrambling to sell goods to civilians who don't know anything. 260,000, 240,000, 220,000. Merchants are selling faster and faster, and seeing the price drop, the commoners who are afraid of falling deeper also start to sell. More and more people are selling, and fewer people are buying. Avalanche. In just one day, the price collapsed to 160,000. 160,000, can we buy it? Hatake Tsukumo asked. I won't buy it, but now, I need to pull it up a bit first. Yizan replied with a smile. Pull a little. Yizan smiled, his eyes became clearer. The spring can't be pressed all the time, nor can it be relaxed all the time, it needs to be relaxed one by one. In order to explode a stronger force, I pull it up a little now. Everyone thinks that the price will rise again, but is this just fake? What if it pulls up for a few days and then falls deeper? Hiss. A chill rushed down his back, causing Hatake Tsukumo to take a deep breath. He widened his eyes and stared at Yizan in disbelief. After a long time, he said softly, Xiaozan, you. He didn't know what to say. Did he say that Yizan was smart, or that Yizan's master of the heart had reached the point of perfection? In other words, will you be punished by tricking people like this? Hatake Tsukumo was amazed and under great pressure just because Yizan behaved too enchantingly. He felt that there was no one smarter than Yizan in this world. It's such a monster at such a young age. If Xiaoshuan grows up, other countries will have a headache. Thinking of this, Hatake Tsukumo took a few deep breaths. His emotions finally calmed down. He straightened his face, and asked in a condensed voice, there is still more than a month to go to 3 months. Xiaozan, our Konoha crisis depends on you. Saved. The afternoon raised the price from 160,000 to 180,000. Immediately, countless people began to sell it. In one day, 20% of the fabric was absorbed. Keep pulling. Yizan ordered, and after another day, the market price rose to 200,000. Boss Wazi, do you want to buy it? No, don't worry everyone, it's just a conspiracy, it's about to fall. Every time Waz's correct judgment convinces more and more people, but in the face of interests, there are always people who take luck, and a few think that it will rise. They silently leave the Waze team and invest all the money on their own. Go in. But the next day, the market fell. Plunge. That day, the 200,000 boxes of fabrics dropped directly to 160,000. Yizan is shipping without cost. Even if the cost of his receipt in recent days is 180,000 minus 200,000, he will ship it regardless of the cost. After another day, the 160,000 cloth was smashed to 120,000 by Yizan. Xiaozan. Don't worry, look farther, we sold 40% of the goods at 250,000, and now these losses are not comparable to the fraction of the 40% of the goods. I know, but... Okay, listen to me. Yizan stopped Hatake Tsukumo, words, and he stood up slowly, his eyes bursting with unprecedented heroism. Continue to smash. Don't care about short-term small losses. Don't care about goods. Smash me hard. Yizan's orders have been absolutely implemented. In the past month or so, he has established an indelible image in the hearts of Anbu and the spy. He is a powerful and intellectually powerful person. In their hearts, no matter what Yizan orders, are all correct, all are right. Sell, sell, smash the price. There is only one word in the minds of all Anbu. They continue to sell at prices. In just 3 days, from 120,000 to 100,000, and from 100,000 to 80,000. The next 2 days after the acquisition, the price will be raised, so that everyone thinks the price has reached the end, but after 2 days, continue to smash it for me. I will make them all despair. Yizan gave a crazy order again, and Anbu implemented the order again. People all over the country watched the price rise nervously. When the price rose to 120,000, the enthusiasm of the people was a little higher. The next day, the price of cloth suddenly plummeted by 50%, and Yizan was directly smashed to 60,000. National despair. Chapter 69 _ The cards are out. In 1 month, the price of cloth rose from 100,000 to a maximum of 250,000, and then fell from 250,000 to 60,000. Countless civilians bought at a high level, and countless businessmen bought and stocked up halfway up the mountain. In the end, the price fell to 60,000. Everyone is desperate. They don't know what's going on. They don't understand why. They just want to cry now. 1 month's arrangement, 1 month's ups and downs. Yizan used his superb skills and control over people's hearts to play the people of the whole country. His total assets rose from 10 billion to 22 billion, which made Hokage Sakumo and all Anbu feel very happy. Happy? What are you laughing at? How excited are you? As if being splashed with cold water, Hokage Sakumo and the 10 captains were stunned, but obediently did not dare to talk back. Just kidding, talking back to Lord Zan. Isn't this looking for abuse? Didn't you see that even the great minister was abused into a dog? Who dares to talk back? The original cheerful atmosphere disappeared in an instant. Yizan pointed at everyone one by one. You, I don't know what you are happy about. 22 billion is a lot. Do you think the entire country of water has a population of 10 million to 22 billion? The country of water has it collapsed. Who told me that the country of water has collapsed? Quote. The strong aura made everyone dare not speak. After a long time, one of the captains said in a low voice, report to Sir Zan, the country of water has not collapsed. That's right. Then what are you excited about? Yizan sighed as if iron was not steel, then closed his eyes and frowned tightly. Business, the most important thing is flow. When I was trapped in the land of water, I found that the commercial flow of the land of water was very slow. In order to implement the collapse plan of the land of water, I chose fabrics to absorb slowly in the first month, and put the merchants hoarded 40% of the goods in the warehouse. In the second month, I raised the price and used the power of spies to overturn the dull market. Although I didn't earn much, this month, 70% of the water in the country everyone knows the fabric is going up and down. Until the third month. Yizan opened his eyes and said softly, you know, any commodity in this world will change, like a wave, one wave after another, with the influence of the times, policies and the environment. The price of commodities cannot be forever high, and it is impossible always low. I stirred up the first wave, mobilized the enthusiasm of all the people in the land of water. I smashed the second wave, and reduced the price of goods to the lowest level, and I made most of the people involved in buying fabrics lose money. Sakumo, can you guess now, what is my other instinct to use human beings? Greed. Yes, this time the price plummeted. I have caused the fear of the people of the whole country to ultimate. Most of them even lost their basic analysis ability, and a small number of people who understand, dare not buy goods, even if they think it will rise. I dare not buy it because of fear. Quote. So, now is the best time to receive the goods in the true sense. 60,000 boxes, hee hee. After 2 months, the conditions for the collapse of the country of water have finally come together. The latest order is now issued. All senior spies number 1 to 20 of the Shadow Force are dispatched. Number 3 Home Secretary receives special orders. Number 2 Dalton's Ming's son-in-law receives special orders. Number 1 Foreign Minister cooperates with the Home Secretary on tasks, and the rest of the senior spies cooperate with the Anbu operation. The opportunity comes. This time, I will completely collapse the water country. Quote. The next day, all Anbu began to receive goods. 60,000 boxes per box, traveled to all villages, all residential areas, and continued to receive goods. This time, the civilian spy and the businessman spy didn't speak or move. They had received new instructions and would cooperate with Anbu's actions at a certain time. For a week, the price of the goods has been hovering between 60,000 and 70,000. Whenever a small and medium-sized businessman wants to raise the price, Yizan will force the price down, and the price will never break through 70,000, which also makes more and more people are desperate, and more people are starting to sell goods. A week later, Yizan hoarded 90% of the country's fabrics at a price of 60,000 minus 70,000, and on the day the acquisition ended, the foreign minister suddenly released an important message. As confirmed by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Kingdom of Water has started a full-scale war with Konoha, and the Kingdom of Thunder suddenly cut off trade between the two countries last night. It is not yet clear why, or if it is related to the war. The Second World War is about to break out. At the same time, the Minister of the Interior also released an important message, and this message completely detonated the emotions of the people across the country. China's cotton and hemp are mainly imported from the country of thunder, and silk and wool are mainly imported from the country of fire. At present, the country's foreign trade is closed, and the restart date is to be determined. I hope that every household in our country will hoard some fabrics for emergencies. After the news came out, the second-generation Mizukage Ghost Lantern Wanyu quickly learned the news, but he did not understand business at all. Although he was surprised by the sudden cessation of foreign trade by Lei Zhiguo, he didn't have much reaction. He just ordered the staying ninjas to strengthen the village. Patrol to prevent the enemy from attacking the village when it is weak. As for the daimyo in the country of fire, as early as 2 days ago, the daimyo's son-in-law took the daimyo's family to find a beautiful Wen Izumi for vacation. As the number 2 spy, the son-in-law successfully blocked the daimyo's ears, and prepared to the ministers looking for the daimyo were stopped by the foreign secretary and the home secretary. Foreign trade is closed, and the opening time is to be determined. When the national-level news was spread, the people of the whole country went crazy. Buy! Everyone's going to buy the cloth. No matter how high the price is. The civilian leader, Ichiro Hanazawa, told everyone to buy goods, and the same goes for the merchant spy. Not only that, but there are also 20 senior spies, all of whom are high-ranking guys in the country of water. When Yizan asked them to do everything possible, the country of water was completely boiling. 100,000. 200,000. 400,000. The authoritative information of the country, the dispatch of high-level spies, and the promotion of Anbu and ordinary spies, only 10% of the fabrics left in the market have been frantically fired. Buy, buy, buy. Don't worry about anything, just buy it. If you can't buy it for 400,000, you can buy it for 500,000. If you can't buy it for 500,000, you can buy it for 600,000. As the price gets higher and higher, those who have the goods in their hands are gradually willing to sell at a profit, but there are still many people who buy them. At least 8 million people across the country want to buy cloth. 700,000, 800,000. In just 7 days, the price of the fabric has risen to 1 million. Chapter 70 _ The Land of Water collapses. 1 million boxes of cloth. What is this concept? Must know that it was only worth 60,000 7 days ago, and 100,000 a month ago, but in such a short period of time, the price has increased by 10 times. There is a market, there is popularity, there are themes, and there are more policies. This is the tipping point. which has detonated the enthusiasm of the people across the country. As you can imagine, a villager's savings for 10 years can only afford a few boxes of cloth, and he has to buy. How crazy is this market? Quote, "Cannot imagine. Without seeing it with my own eyes, I can't believe all this, and I can't believe that this financial tsunami was driven by Yi Zhan, the mastermind behind the scenes. What should I do next? 1 million, can I sell it? It's not urgent, it's not enough, the fabric has reached 1 million, and it's difficult to rely on their strength to go up. This time we will pull it. Yi Zhan is right, the price has risen tenfold, fewer and fewer people dare to buy, and more people want to sell, and after the ups and downs of the last month, many people feel that it is almost a fall. It's time." But the next day, when the price dropped from 1 million to 950,000, Yi Zhan shot again, smashing all the more than 20 billion into it, and it went up wildly. At the same time, senior spies number 4 to 20, businessman spies and civilian spies are bullish at the same time, and they keep calling people to buy. The prestige and 100% accuracy of these spies have finally convinced people. Ways never lied to people. The country can no longer import fabrics. Now the amount of fabric used is less. The war continues, and the fabric will become more and more expensive. Don't sell it. Keep it for 1 to 2 years. I believe at that time, a box will rise to 10 million. Quote. Wazi's analysis makes sense. In other words, this script was originally written by Yi Zhan, and all the spies recited the script on the mission. Everyone thought that the number of fabrics would rise to 10 million in 1 to 2 years. Rise. Keep going up. When Yi Zhan raised the price from 1 million to 1.5 million, the people of the whole country were completely crazy. They lost their minds, sold their houses, sold their fields, and bought a few more boxes of cloth. The merchants even borrowed money from everywhere. Usury, but they found that even the usurer merchants participated in the rush to buy the goods. 1.5 million, 1.7 million, 2 million. When each box of cloth reached the sky-high price of 2 million, Yi Zhan finally issued an order. Sell 50%. In the following days, the cloth price hovered between 2 million and 2.1 million, and when Yi Zhan finally sold out 50% of the goods, the price finally dropped. When it fell sharply, and once it fell, it was 30%. Those who bought cloth at high prices watched the price plummet. My heart is cold. It started to fall. Sell it, more and more people are selling. However, the more people sell it, the less valuable it will be, and the faster it will fall. Soon, the price of the fabric dropped from 2 million to 1.2 million, and countless people went bankrupt again because of this, and merchants were in debt one after another. The whole market is completely chaotic, and all those who bought cloth at high prices have collapsed. Now as long as you are willing to buy his cloth, you are his father. And just when people were completely desperate, Yi Zhan bought it again at a price of 1.2 million, and the price rose again. Receive. Continue to receive. 1.2 million, 1.8 million, 2 million, 2.3 million. The price of fabric has broken through the previous high price, and it is still rushing up. The few people who didn't sell are very fortunate, and those who bought with 2 million and sold 1.2 million cried bitterly, but they had to buy again, at a higher price, because in this situation, the price of the cloth is really high. Over 10 million. 40% of the goods left, received 20% of the goods at the price of 1.2 million again in this promotion. After that, all the spies began to call everyone to buy it, and all the spies insisted on the previous view of breaking through 10 million. 22nd day of the 3rd month of the Water Country Collapse Plan, the price of fabrics finally broke through 3 million under the madness of the people all over the country. Everyone came to buy cloth, they used all their money to buy cloth, because everyone began to believe that in the future, the price of fabric will rise to 10 million. Yi Zhan smiled and smiled happily. When the price exceeded 3 million, Yi Zhan stood up proudly and issued his last order in the land of water. Thank you all for your cooperation, thank you for the full cooperation of the shadow troops, And now, let this play come to an end. Please everyone, sell all the goods. Sell, sell, sell. 27th day of the third month of the Water Country Collapse Plan, Yizan sold all the goods at a price of 2.8 million to 3 million. At the same time, his assets have risen from the initial 10 billion to the current 230 billion. When the program ended, the market lost its voice. Hype is gone, the shouting of 10 million is gone, the civilian hero Hanazawa is gone, the senior spy number 1 to 20 is gone. The business is in a depression, there is no money, one by one Kabutos have no money, and they still owe a lot of debt. What's going on? Many people are inexplicable and have no money. Apart from the cloth in his hands that was several times higher, the real estate was gone, and the fields were gone. Civilians have no money to buy things, shops can't make money, shops are closed one by one, and the economy of the country of water has completely collapsed. When the economy collapses, it is the country that is unlucky. Only at this time did the Deputy Minister of the Interior find out that the tax cannot be collected. The shops are gone, and they are unwilling to pay taxes, and the people are also unwilling to pay the poll tax, so they have no money. If you force again, let's go. It is better not to live in it, to go to the land of fire, to go to the land of thunder, than to starve to death here. When this news finally reached the ears of Daimyo 5.2, Daimyo's son-in-law had long since disappeared without a trace. At this moment, Daimyo had no doubts, he was just furious and asked the relevant personnel to investigate, and he must use the fastest time to find out. Source. Finally, found out. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of the Interior, the son-in-law of Daimyo, and more than a dozen senior officials of the Land of Water, but they all disappeared. As soon as the goods were sold out a few days ago, Yizan left the country of water with all Anbuan spies. Even if they found out, what would happen? A few days later, the village of Kurigakure withdrew without a fight. The war is always long. There is no supply, no money, and no economy. How can we fight? The Water Country Collapse Plan, successful. Chapter 71_All want money. The matter of the Land of Water soon spread throughout the whole ninja world. When the country of water found out that those spies were from Konoha, the whole world focused on Konoha. They wanted to know who the enchanting genius who could come up with such a plan was. And because of the situation in the country of water, several other countries have begun to strictly control the country's economy and price fluctuations. That is to say, this kind of plan can only be implemented once and cannot be used again in the future. The Kingdom of Water withdrew, and the Kingdom of Wind was dumbfounded. You must know that the Kingdom of Wind was already weak. It was because of the alliance with the Kingdom of Water that he dared to attack Konoha. Collapsed. Desperation, the three generations of Kazekage immediately announced their withdrawal, and even started planning how to compensate Konoha. Although they still wanted to attack Konoha, it was definitely impossible in a short time. Yizan didn't care about the situation in the ninja world. At this moment, he was holding his head up and looking at Sarutobi angrily. I said before, give me 10 billion, and give you 20 billion, what do you mean now? Yizan tightly grabbed the large storage scroll in his hand, and he would not let go. This time, Yizan made 230 billion in the collapse plan of the Land of Water. In addition to the 2.05 trillion return to Konoha, the remaining 210 billion is all in this scroll. That, cough, Xiaoshuan, you also know that our Konoha development is very difficult. You see, the road needs to be repaired, the house needs to be built, the detonation talisman has no money to buy, and the school is so poor that even the teacher's salary is paid. I'm sorry, your money, can you? No talk. Yizan shouted, holding the scroll tightly in his arms. He stared at Sarutobi vigilantly, for fear that Sarutobi would rob him of his money. Yizan was unwilling, and Sarutobi was embarrassed to use it too much. After all, 20 billion was already Konoha's development fund for 20 years. Although 10 billion had to be paid back to the daimyo, there was still 10 billion, which was enough for Konoha's economical development for 10 years. Sarutobi has earned 10 billion to satisfy him, there is a child in front of him holding 210 billion. This is what all the people and merchants of the entire water country have. If it is used in the development of Konoha, it is enough to develop 100 million. Year. Danzo, come on, there's nothing I can do. Sarutobi sighed helplessly, and finally kicked the ball to Danzo, but Danzo just looked at Yizan in embarrassment. Yizan didn't want it, he really took this baby boy can't do it. That, son, it's useless for you to take so much money, we as Konoha's ninjas. I've already made 10 billion for Konoha, don't get too far. Yizan gave Danzo a warning look, and dragged the scroll tightly, with an attitude of absolutely not bargaining. This time, Danzo had no choice. He glanced at Sarutobi helplessly, and said that he really had nothing to do with his son. The atmosphere in the office became more and more embarrassing, and at this moment, there was a loud bang, and the door of the office was kicked open with a bang. Mr. Sarutobi, we're back, huh? Xiaozan, has your plan been completed? The fragrant wind blew his nostrils, making Yizan instantly intoxicated. His eyes lit up, he turned and plunged into Tsunade's arms. Ah, wife, I haven't seen you for 3 months, I miss you so much. Idiot, who is your wife? Boom. With a muffled sound, Yizan squatted down with his head covered in pain. Seeing Yizan's pitiful appearance, Tsunade sighed softly and pulled Yizan up. Palm Sage Art. Yuhi bag on his forehead instantly disappeared without a trace. At the same time, Tsunade glanced at Yizan's right paw suspiciously, and directly took the storage scroll in Yizan's hand. What is this? Give it back to me. Throw it. The two shouts sounded at the same time. Tsunade was stunned for a moment, and habitually followed Sarutobi's orders, raised his wrist, the storage scroll drew a wonderful arc in the air, and fell firmly into Sarutobi's hands. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. Yizan's eyes widened in disbelief, and he was completely dumbfounded. He stared blankly at the scroll in Sarutobi's hand, as if he had come to his senses. He didn't even care about Tsunade, and Zhang Kiba rushed over with his claws. Dead monkey, you were rude. This is my salary for 3 months of hard work, pay it back to me. Ha, ha. Yizan kept attacking. Sarutobi dodged with a smile. No matter how hard Yizan tried, he couldn't catch it. Until Yizan was exhausted and out of breath, he stopped and gently shook the scroll in his hand. Xiaozan, it's not my fault, Tsunade took it from you. If you want to blame it, blame Tsunade. The inexplicable situation made Tsunade more puzzled, but her doubts did not last long before Sarutobi opened Shikai to release it. Tsunade, don't you know? Hey, it's actually very simple. There are 210 billion in this scroll, which Xiaoshuan earned from the land of water. What? 210 billion? At this moment, even Tsunade was stunned. Her eyes were wide open. Her eyes were full of disbelief. Didn't you say before that 10 billion earns 20 billion? Teacher, you were right. Hey, I didn't know about this at the time, but after thinking about it carefully, earning more than 10 billion, it seems that the country of water can't be collapsed at all. This kid lied to us from the beginning. He wants to take the big money tilde. After listening to Sarutobi's explanation, Tsunade understood that she was in trouble. She looked at Yizan cautiously, and said softly, that. Xiaozan, it's none of your business. This is all about the dead monkey. Hurry up and return the money. Yizan waved his hand and turned to look at Sarutobi, but Sarutobi smiled and put the scroll in his arms. This time, Yizan knew that the money could not be robbed. He puffed up his cheeks angrily, and turned his eyes directly to Danzo. Cough. That son. Give me the money back. Give me the money back. Facing Yizan's gaze, Danzo finally turned his head in embarrassment. He touched the back of his head, and after being embarrassed for a while, he said again, my good son, it's useless for you to take money. Why not donate money to Konoha? Konoha will not be bullied by outsiders when she is strong Humph. Yizan hummed lightly, and did not speak any more. Sarutobi for no reason, and he can't say anything. Danzo and Sarutobi naturally noticed Yizan's change. Danzo immediately winked at Sarutobi. Then, Sarutobi's eyes lit up and he finally thought of a good solution. Xiaozan, otherwise, I will announce to the whole village that you are Tsunade's boyfriend, and the money will be used as my promotional fee. What do you think? It seems to be fine. Sarutobi teacher. Chapter 72_tired with Tsunade. In the end, Sarutobi and Yizan's negotiation failed due to Tsunade's strong opposition and a desperate push. Yizan doesn't care about money. As Danzo's son, he has to deal with wind and rain in Konoha. He has never been short of money since he was a child. 210 billion is just rusted on his body. However, it is absolutely impossible to take Yizan's money in vain. After a long period of bargaining, the two finally decided to give 2 million taels of reward to each Anbuan spy who performed the task, and when giving out, tell the other party is what Yizan fought for everyone. Well, generally speaking, S-level missions only have a reward of 1 million, and the hundreds of spies don't even get paid, but because of Yizan's request, Sarutobi agreed to pay everyone, approximately 1.2 billion in total. 1.2 billion. If you put it in the past, Sarutobi would not do anything to kill him. You must know that the country of fire only gives Konoha 1 to 0 million development funds a year. But now, Sarutobi said it doesn't matter, I have money anyway, 1.2 billion is only a fraction of the fraction. Damn, it's my money. Don't waste my money, dead monkey. If I see you in a custom shop one day, you're screwed. Yizan cursed and waved a small fist to threaten, and was pulled away by Tsunade. Sarutobi breathed a sigh of relief until Yizan completely left the office. Danzo, your son is getting more and more lawless. It's up to you to take care of it in the future. Hee, Sarutobi, I can take care of it if you get it cheap and sell it well, but you have to return the 210 billion to Xiaoshuan first. When I didn't say. The kingdom of water collapsed, the kingdom of wind was temporarily subdued, and the kingdom of thunder and the kingdom of earth had not moved yet. It seemed that in an instant, the entire ninja world was at peace, but in this seemingly peaceful environment, there was a fierce undercurrent surging. Yi Shuenkai didn't care about these things. At this moment, he and Tsunade came to a tea house in the commercial street. Since it was the afternoon, the tea house was clean and empty except for the boss. Yizan ordered some glutinous rice balls and fried tempura. Tsunade asked for a small pot of shochu, and the two found a small corner to sit down. After the tea house owner finished serving the food, he hid in the kitchen knowingly. The sun was shining brightly outside, but it was a little dark in the corner. Yizan twisted his ass but was about to lean over, but was gently pushed by Tsunade. Little bastard, sit down. No, I want to sit with you. Yizan leaned next to Tsunade with a grin, and their legs completely touched each other. Then, Yizan seemed to unintentionally put his hand on Tsunade's leg and pinched it lightly. Die away. No, I've already taken off. Guangguang hugged and slept, so what if I squeezed? Boom. Oops. Yizan covered his head aggrievedly, those big black and translucent eyes flashed, and Tsunade's heart softened in an instant. You little pervert, don't move your hands around, if you dare to touch it, I will be blamed. She warned Yizan by acquiescing to put her hand on her lap, as if seeing hope. Yizan pressed most of his body to it, causing Tsunade to stare, but he did not refuse. Open your mouth. Ah. Yizan took one sip, and quickly ate up the bunch of glutinous rice balls that Tsunade had fed. Then Tsunade put down the bamboo stick, took a sip of shochu, exhaled lightly, and closed his eyes tiredly. Have you been tired of fighting against the Sand Ninja for the past 3 months? Well, the 3 generations of Kazekage and their puppet troops are too strong. We were beaten and retreated, especially in the first few days. The captain of the puppet troops Chio is a master of poison. As long as her puppet touches a little bit, our ninjas will be poisoned. Fortunately, I know medical skills, and I solved her poison with the fastest speed, and Danzo-sama and the root team participated in the battle halfway, otherwise the border defense line will be broken. Tsunade responded softly, as if he felt uncomfortable sitting like this, fell down and leaned comfortably on the sofa. Little pervert, how about you? Are you tired lately? I am exhausted, but my body is fine, but my head is about to burn out. I'm guessing people's hearts and people's expectations of the market every day. I'm constantly thinking about and fine-tuning the plan every day. I am sick to the point of vomiting. Yi Xuanfu said slowly on Tsunade's shoulder. He was holding a bunch of long blonde hair in his left hand, and his right index finger was constantly looping on it. Yizan's tone was calm, but Tsunade could feel Yizan's fatigue, and he calculated the whole country by himself, not knowing how many brain cells he would consume every day. Even so, Tsunade still underestimated Yizan's fatigue. She didn't know that Yizan's mental power was 3 times that of ordinary people. Tenten would be dizzy because of such a strong mentality. Can lead to mental breakdown. Hey! Tsunade sighed lightly, picked up the glass and took a sip of wine again. Before he could put it down, the glass was snatched by Yizan. Hey, minors are not allowed to drink, she said, but watched Yizan suffocate the wine without stopping. HMPH, when did I, Long Aoshin, obey Konoha's rules? Yizan proudly raised his chin, and in the next second, his slender jade fingers touched and flicked on his forehead. You play me again. Hee. Who told you to become what Long Aoshin tilde? It's not a good word to hear it tilde. This is a crazy cool word, you know. Besides, I'm not drunk, so what if I'm drunk? As the saying goes, drunkenness, sex, the two of us are not drunk, how can we mess up get up? Little pervert. Tsunade rolled his eyes at Yizan and pulled back the blonde hair in Yizan's hand. She pushed hard and finally pushed Yizan off her body. Sit down to the opposite side and accompany me to buy clothes for a while. Don't want to eat my tofu. Humph. If you don't eat it, you won't eat it. Who will eat your tofu? Yizan pouted and sat on the opposite chair slowly, as if he wanted to turn his grief and anger into strength. He grabbed the 3 strings of glutinous rice balls and ate them in large gulps. Eat slowly and stop choking. You. Cough. Give me water. Chapter 73-Angry Jiraiya. Yizan and Tsunade had been together for 3 days. They were called by Sarutobi to Hokage's office. Dead monkey, didn't you see me on my honeymoon with Tsunade? In Hokage's office, Yizan angrily pointed at Sarutobi and cursed, while Tsunade pouted, feeling very helpless about the word, honeymoon. Honeymoon? What honeymoon? Before Sarutobi could speak, Jiraiya rushed in front of Yizan. He glared at Yizan viciously, and almost put his nose on Yizan's face. Little brat, do you know what a honeymoon is? How could Tsunade have a honeymoon with a stinky brat like you? Hee, Jiraiya, are you jealous? Are you jealous that I spent 3 good days with Tsunade? Yizan raised his chin and said with a smug face, envy. Jealous? I'm sorry, Tsunade these days. It's our honeymoon with me. Let me tell you another secret. These 3 days, Tsunade and I are, 1. Get up. Sleep. Yes. What? You are living together. This time, not only Jiraiya, but also Sarutobi and Orochimaru, who had no sense of existence, widened their eyes in surprise. As for Tsunade, the heroine of Cohabitation Gate, she was biting on Kiba tightly at the moment, and the word, well, appeared on her forehead. She didn't expect Yizan to say all this, and she thought silently in her heart that she would Yizan esteemed, or Yuhi grilled. I don't believe it. A loud roar, like the roaring emperor in Chang Yao's drama, Jiraiya turned to look at Tsunade, and found that Tsunade neither admitted nor objected. By Tsunade's character, no objection is true. Jiraiya thought like this, clutching her heart, took a few big steps back as if she couldn't accept it, and almost fell over with a stagger. He gasped for breath and pointed at Yizan tremblingly. What? Can't speak. Seeing that Jiraiya was so angry, Yizan raised his head even more arrogantly, like a general who had won a battle, proudly walked up to Jiraiya and squinted contemptuously. Look at you, a person in his 20s is as old as 40. The old uncle, with those wretched eyes and ugly hairstyle, you are an ugly ghost. Yes, you are an ugly ghost, and you will be famous in the ninja world in the future. Remember, your name is the ugly ghost Jiraiya. I'm not ugly, I'm Jiraiya. No, you're ugly, so ugly, I think the name Jiraiya is more suitable for you. Stinky brat, believe it or not I beat you. Hey, you actually want to beat me? Who's afraid of who? Come, fight, I want all Konoha to know that the handsome boy with jade face defeated the ugly Jiraiya. As they talked, the two rolled up their sleeves and prepared to fight, but Tsunade, who had long been unable to bear it, finally couldn't control his emotions, and burst out like a lioness. You two, that's enough. Boom. Boom. With two loud noises, Yizan squatted down holding his head in pain, while Jiraiya smashed the window and flew out screaming. Damn, Tsunade, stinky brat, I'll be back. Jiraiya's voice became smaller and smaller, and finally turned into a star and disappeared into the vast sky. The farce in the office finally ended. Sarutobi sat on the chair very calmly smoking. Orochimaru stood behind Sarutobi and pretended to be a passerby. Without Jiraiya as a spoiler, Yizan immediately looked at Tsunade, his big black eyes blinked, and Tsunade was in an instant. Heart sprouting. You, can't you let me save some snacks? Tsunade pulled Yizan up from the ground, his jade hand covered Yizan's head, a green light flashed, and the yuhi bag on his forehead disappeared instantly. HMPH, it's you who won't let me worry. Look, there are men chasing you everywhere, can't you just beat up these stinky men who accost you? Yizan puffed up his face in dissatisfaction, usually only in the real world. This expression appears when you are dissatisfied. The two were wrapped together all day, and they knew each other better. Tsunade saw Yizan's bulging face and knew that Yizan was angry. He couldn't help but slow down his tone and said softly, Okay, slut, don't be angry, they are all my colleagues, so when someone says hello, it's considered a conversation. Do you want me to make friends? It's enough to only make female friends. Yizan muttered softly, and when Tsunade glared at him, he couldn't help shrinking his neck and spreading his hands. Little pervert, what do you mean, you're still helpless? Just be happy. Humph. Make it clear to the old lady. Just be happy. Humph. The two kept playing, and it was unknown how long it took. When Yizan finally found a gaze staring at him, he was slightly taken aback, and an unexpected expression appeared on his face. Huh. Dead monkey, why are you still here? Sarutobi. In Hokage's office, Yizan's face was full of seriousness, if not for the fact that he was holding Tsunade's hand, he was indeed quite serious. That is to say, I will lead the team this time. Didn't you say you want to sharpen it? During your 3 months in the land of water, Sakumo has taught you all the basic skills of Anbu. Although your strength is scumbag, your IQ is not bad enough to be competent for this task. Well, that's fine. Wait, what did you just say? You said I'm scumbag. Believe it or not, you're spitting on your face. I don't believe it. Bah. A pool of saliva passed by Sarutobi's ear. Sarutobi tilted his head and looked at Yizan with lingering fears. When he found that Yizan was accumulating saliva again, he immediately got up, quickly waved his hand and shouted, Stop. Letter, I admit defeat. Humph. Next time you look down on me, give me the money back. Yizan Suinder took a step 3.7 to the side and leaned comfortably on Tsunade. I've accepted the mission of the Kingdom of Vortex, and I'll bring it with me tomorrow. Team departure, where's Tsunade? Can Tsunade accompany me? Tsunade has another mission. It's the yellow gambling and drug team again. What? It's nothing, you'll understand later. Oh, by the way Tsunade, the first family law in our family is that gambling is not allowed. It's you who said it, why are you staring at it? I'm afraid you will become addicted to gambling, understand? Humph. Why do you have to abide by your family law? You are my wife, of course you must obey my family law. Shut up, the little pervert still wants to eat swan meat. It's obviously an ugly duckling returning a swan. What did you just say? Nothing to say. Chapter 74_Who to learn gymnastics. In the border forest of the Land of Fire, several black figures with cat face masks flashed between the branches. It's already July, the warm climate is getting hotter, and the Yuhi sun is hanging high in the sky, exuding an irritating atmosphere. The wind blowing from time to time is not only uncomfortable, but even more irritating. For the latter Anbu, these are nothing, it is another person who makes them feel annoyed. Hey, my money, my tsunade, my honeymoon, dead monkey oh dead monkey, hate you so much. Along the way, Yizan kept reciting, like a monk reciting scriptures, making everyone feel irritable. However, irritability is irritability, who dares to persuade? Although the strength of the four of them is stronger than Yizan, Yizan is the captain of this operation, and after the Battle of the Kingdom of Water, who would dare to underestimate Yizan? At least in Anbu, the members who participated in the collapse plan regarded Yizan as the first person under the flag 05 Wood Sakumo. Besides, the 1 million reward that can be received for the S-level task, because Yizan's efforts turned into 2 million, take it. Short-handed, what else can you do? Anbu behind him were speechless and helpless, and it was unknown how long it took. One of the Anbu's eyes lit up and seemed to think of a good way, and quickly came to Yizan's side. Zan, Your Excellency, the country of fire is not far from the country of vortex. I think the advance formation needs to be changed, and everything should be done carefully. Quote. Oh. Yizan was stunned for a moment, and the broken thoughts finally stopped. He didn't realize that the three Anbu behind him breathed a sigh of relief at the same time, and gave a thumbs up to Anbu next to him. Anbu's purpose is to be careful, you can tell me how to change the formation. Also, Zonki, I said before, everyone is an old teammate, don't shout so unfamiliarly, Master Zan, you will still call me little in the future. Zan, can you? Then, Xiaoshuan. Hyuga Zongji paused and seemed a little embarrassed to speak, but since Yizan said so, he didn't bother to call Master Zan any longer. Xiao Zan, it's like this, the ninja world is not peaceful now. Although the country of the vortex is a solid ally of Konoha, it does not mean that they will not betray. Your strength is the weakest. I suggest changing from the previous 1-4 formation to 4-0 formation, what do you think? 4-0, I don't want to hide in the middle. Yizan shouted, obviously unwilling, and Hyuga Zongji's personality is not a very strong type, since the other party does not agree, then forget it. However, at this moment, another Anbu also walked to Yizan's side. He snorted softly, raised his chin arrogantly, and looked at Yizan with disdain. Xiaozan, you are not even a Jonin, so be good, stay in the middle, there are 4 of us elite Jonin to protect you, at least you won't be scared to pee your pants when you encounter an enemy. Uchiha Nomi, your skin is itchy again. Do you need me to fix you? That's right, the second person is Yizan's old teammate who stopped the fight. Although this Uchiha alien has Uchiha's arrogance, he is very kind to people, and he is an awkward Tsunere guy. The last time he fell into the Land of Water, Uchiha Nomi's strength broke through in the crisis, and he was successfully promoted to the elite Jonin. Although the battle strength was not as good as that of the veteran elite Hyuga Zongji, the gap between the two was not too far. And the last 2 Anbu, one from the Nara family and one from the Yamanaka family, are both elite Jonin, powerful and important figures in their own families. These 4 were originally the captains of other teams, but because of Yizan's particularity, Sarutobi dismantled the team and supplied supplies to Yizan. Once they encountered an enemy, Hyuga and Uchiha would output, Nara and Yamanaka would control, and they would fight at the same level. It's half one. Alright, stop arguing, both of you. Seeing that Yizan and Uchiha Nomi were about to fight, Hyuga Soji frowned, and an old-fashioned and steady air suddenly emerged. I ordered in the name of the captain, you guys the two are not allowed to quarrel. Bah, Captain. Now I'm the captain. You are my former ex-captain. Let's not talk about this time, the last time the country of water collapsed. I am also the captain of your 300 people, Zhangji. Don't talk. I have to teach him a lesson, and I want him to know why Huar is like Yuhi. Later, in the forest on the border of the fire country, Yizan really rolled up his sleeves and had a big fight with Uchiha Nomi. Of course, the two didn't use ninjutsu, just pure hand-to-hand combat. It wasn't until half an hour later that the team ended with 4-0 formation starts to advance. To surround you in the middle is to be careful that you will be ambushed. If an elite Jonin or even a quasi-cage level powerhouse attacks you, we will not be able to react. With a bruised nose and a swollen face, no one got any benefit. Uchiha Nomi fought gently. Covering his eyes, his left eye was turned into a panda eye by Yizan. I said, Xiaoshuan, when did your physical skills become so strong? I'm a genius, you don't understand, but you are also very powerful. Yizan also covered his eyes. He fought with Uchiha Nomi with Kurigakure, which was upgraded to the purple level, but he didn't expect to be tied. 353 The most important thing is that the Uchiha Nomi battle has not yet started. Sharingan. Hey, before you 300 people went to carry out the plan for the collapse of the country of water, I was unlucky to be assigned the task of guarding Konoha by the minister. We guarded Konoha in 2 waves. When I was resting, I was practicing physique. I think, are you curious who I am looking for to learn physical skills? Indeed, there are only a few people in the entire Konoha who are capable of instructing you in physical art. The minister has gone with us to the land of water. It is impossible for Lord Hokage to have time to instruct you. Come on, in the past few months, who have you learned physical art from? Technique. Hyuga Soji's words immediately attracted everyone's attention, including Nara and Yamanaka's Jonin, who also focused their attention. Hey, you don't believe it when you say it. Uchiha Nomi paused for a while, and after dazzling everyone's appetite, he finally said the answer. Actually, these few months. I have been learning physique with Might Dai. What? Might Dai? That legendary eternal genin. Everyone. Chapter 75_Trip over a girl. The Anbu team continued to advance towards the country of the vortex, and along the way, Yizan, who was chattering, was completely silent. He frowned slightly, thinking about Might Dai in his heart. I didn't expect that Uchiha Nomi would ask Might Dai to learn physical skills. As expected of the Uchiha family, this is a typical shameless question, right? Uchiha Nomi will ask Might Dai to learn taijutsu. It means that Might Dai's taijutsu skills are really powerful, and Might Dai himself is only limited by his ninjutsu talent, and his chakra is too weak. Don't underestimate chakra. The reason why ninjas are powerful is because they contain chakra in every move. The ninja gathers chakra on his fist, which can break the stone wall. When attacked by the enemy, the chakra covers the hit point and reduces the damage. Even if it is hit by powerful ninjutsu such as Kaden, fire style, as long as the chakra is hit strong enough, there is also a chance to survive. As for Lirok's inability to ninjutsu in the original book, it is because he cannot gather chakra to form ninjutsu, but he still has chakra in his body, which is the chakra refining method taught by every student in the first grade of Jonin's school. Lirok relies on beating his body to stimulate the chakra in his cells, which makes him stronger and faster. They've been hanging around at the top, and I almost forgot the owner of the 8 inner gates. When this mission is over, I'll go back and find Might Dai. As long as I don't reveal my identity, his IQ shouldn't give me face, right? Of course Yizan didn't want Might Dai to give himself face, and he could duel without giving face. As long as he defeated this eternal genin, Yizan would be able to obtain the skill book of the 8 inner gates. Xiaozan, we are here. A voice interrupted Yizan's contemplation. He blinked his eyes and found that he had walked out of the forest and came to an open high slope, and the basin surrounded by the high slope was the destination of this mission, Uzushiogakure village. A breeze blew, and the fragrance of green grass and soil calmed the whole heart. Yizan yawned lazily and praised softly. The air is clear, the green grass is faint, and at a glance, the entire Uzushiobukure village has a panoramic view. Great place for a picnic. Quote. As he said this, Yi Gulu lay down on the lawn with his hands behind his head, swaying with Erlang's legs crossed, closed his eyes and enjoyed himself. Well, enjoy. The four of Hyuga Soji were full of black lines, and they began to doubt whether Sarutobi made Yizan the right choice to be the captain. That lazy look was not the legendary Anbu. As for Yizan, he didn't know that the four of them were silently complaining about him. He seemed to be thinking of something. He suddenly opened his eyes to look at Zongji Hyuga, said a word, and then closed his eyes again. After a while, a slight and even snoring sounded. Zongzi, I ordered you to report to the Great Name Office of the Kingdom of Vortex on behalf of the captain temporarily. As for me, I'll come to you when I wake up. The daimyo of the country of Vortex is also the patriarch of the Uzumaki clan. The Uzumaki clan leader is a quasi-cage level powerhouse, but because the Uzumaki clan mainly relies on sealing techniques to fight, his frontal combat strength is weaker than that of the same level. This is why Sarutobi sent 4 elite Jonin to accompany Yizan. With 2 attack and 2 control elite Jonin to cooperate, even if the opponent attacks, it cannot cause damage to Yizan. All Anbu allies, welcome to the village of Uzushiobukure. The old man has been waiting for you for a long time. The village chief's house, Uzumaki Liushin, the head of the Uzumaki clan, took the initiative to shake hands with Hyuga Soji, then made a gesture of, please, and invited everyone into the house. Lord Liushin, you must already know the purpose of our visit at this time, right? Hyuga Zongji said respectfully, as Konoha's ally, Uzumaki Liushin's status is equal to Sarutobi, and the other party is a quasi-cage level powerhouse, as it should be respectfully. Hyuga Soji won't mess around just because he is Anbu. Well, Lord Hokage and I have written a letter before. I have already prepared this matter, but there are some difficulties in the country of Vortex. I wonder if you can solve it for me by the way. Hyuga Soji and the others talked to Uzumaki Ryayama, and on the other side, 2 girls appeared on the high hillside. The grass on the hillside was long and green, exuding a faint fragrance. The 2 girls slowly walked towards the top with a bamboo basket on their shoulders, with bright smiles on their faces. Sister, Tenten is really angry today. Fortunately, we made preparations in advance, otherwise we wouldn't be able to enjoy the sunset while having a picnic. Yeah, little girl, you are still smart, but last night, my father told us not to go out today. He said that there are guests from Konoha to entertain. Is it really okay for us to sneak out like this? I don't know. Don't think about it so much, I have already come out. It's useless to go back now. I don't want to give up today's picnic for the sake of some guests. The younger girl waved her fist and looked in high spirits, but in the next second, she seemed to have stepped on something, her center of gravity shifted, and she fell ruthlessly. Oops. Who stepped on Lao Su? The 2 voices sounded at the same time, and the elder sister on the side was stunned for a moment. After looking closely, she realized that there was a boy lying on the lawn. Before, due to the lush green grass, no trace of the boy was found at all. Then, the elder sister on the side found that the boy and her younger sister stood up at the same time. She was shocked. When she thought of her younger sister's character, she knew that something bad was going to happen. Bastard, you tripped me up. What? I tripped you? Hey, you see, I've been sleeping here, and, look at my hand for yourself, what's on it? It's a footprint. How dare you step on my hand? What's wrong with stepping on you? I'm hiding in the grass like a groundhog, stepping on you is right. You're not a good person looking like this. I'm not a good guy. Kid, do you know who I am? HMPH, you're about the same age as me, and you're still pretending to be an adult. You brat, do you know who I am? Who are you? I'm afraid to scare you to death. The girl raised her head arrogantly and said word by word, this princess is the princess of the country of Vortex, the daughter of the Uzumaki patriarch, Uzumaki Kushina. Chapter 76 I am the captain. The hard-worked food is knocked down. A high slope with faint green grass, Uzumaki Kushina squatted in the lawn to clean up the basket. When he just fell, the bamboo basket he was carrying overturned, and all the food was spread on the lawn. It's not that you blame yourself for being careless. Yizan pouted and squatted down to help the other party pack up. HMPH, the groundhog hiding in the lawn. Uzumaki Kushina muttered in a low voice, but seeing Yizan helping her clean up, she didn't continue arguing with Yizan, but looked up to the side and shouted in dissatisfaction, "Sister, come and help me pack my things." Hee, Sina, you and this Konoha guest pack up, I'll prepare a picnic. This is Kushina's older sister. Her name is Uzumaki Mawako. She is about 2 years older than Kushina. She has a gentle personality, but unfortunately she doesn't look that good, with a big skeleton and an ordinary face, which does not meet Yizan's aesthetic vision at all. Still Kushina cute. Thinking like this, Yizan's movement of packing things slowed down. He kept looking at the girl in front of him, with long eyelashes, a lovely nose, and a tender face with baby fat 870, I really wanted to pinch it. Doing what you want is Yizan's style. He directly raised his hand and moved towards Kushina. Under Kushina's doubtful gaze, he gently pinched the other's face. Kushina. Ah, asshole. As if even the air was about to be shattered, Uzumaki Kushina's scream scared Yizan to quickly withdraw her hand, and then, like an angry little tiger, Jung Kiba grabbed Yizan with her claws, but Kushina's strength was too weak. Yizan dodged left and right, and finally turned around and started running. Bastard! Don't run! How dare you pinch my face! I'm going to kill you! After chasing and running, the two quickly disappeared on the high slope. Maybe they thought it was very interesting. Uzumaki Mawako smiled softly, spread the cloth in his basket on the ground, and served delicious delicacies. Well, wait for them to come back and eat together. The sun sets and the moon rises. The white clouds gradually dimmed. The breeze was blowing, the grass was swaying, and everything seemed so comfortable on this early summer evening. On the high slope, Yizan was lying lazily. Uzumaki Mawako put all the lunch boxes into the basket one by one. Kushina stared at Yizan with an unhappy face. She couldn't figure out, this bastard who was about her own age, why so strong. Uzumaki Kushina, a little tigress, was able to stop her hands. It was obvious that she suffered a loss just now. Seeing her sister cleaning up the dishes, she pursed her lips and rubbed her ass stalks quietly. After resting for so long, it still hurts a little. Stinky bastard. Kushina glared at Yizan viciously, but got a provocative response from Yizan. She snorted lightly, turned her head, and decided to stop looking at this hateful guy. Just when Kushina was thinking about how to take revenge on Yizan, Uzumaki Mawako stood up with a basket. She gently held Kushina's hand, and then bowed to Yizan. Guests of Konoha, my sister and I are going home. Do you want to come with us? That's it. Actually, I wanted to sleep for a while, but since you two sisters have invited me warmly, I'll go with you. He raised his eyebrows at Kushina provocatively, and his expression made Kushina furious. He pulled up Mawako and walked down the slope. Sister, let's go. We don't care about him. If he wants to sleep, he will sleep here. I don't want to go back with him. Kushina forcibly pulled, and Mawako was afraid that her sister would fall again, so she had to follow along. She turned back and smiled apologetically at Yizan, and after a while, the two sisters disappeared into the vast darkness. Hey, this Uzumaki Mawako has a gentle personality, but it's a pity that she looks too ordinary, otherwise I would have shot. Yizan sighed with emotion as he looked at it from a distance. Fortunately, Uzumaki Kushina is still very cute, although her personality is a bit fierce. However, after experiencing my Tsunade, it seems that there is no tigress in this world, right? Thinking of this, Yizan suddenly laughed. For Yizan, the biggest difference between Kushina and Tsunade is the difference in strength. He bullied Tsunade and was often beaten back, but when he bullied Kushina, this girl really couldn't deal with herself other than being angry. It's almost time to go. Zongzi and the others should also be in a hurry. Yizan guessed right. Hyuga, Zongji and the others were indeed in a hurry. It's not that they are worried about Yizan's safety, it's just the request of the Uzumaki patriarch that they have to wait for Yizan to decide. Everyone, what do you mean? Neither agree nor refuse. What are you thinking about? Uzumaki Liushin asked in a condensed voice. Sorry, Liushin-sama, it's not that we're thinking about it, but this matter. We can't be the master. Hyuga Zongji was a little embarrassed. As Anbu, who is known for his ruthlessness and quickness in the ninja world, the team leader was actually in the process of carrying out the mission. Zhang ran to the hillside to sleep. He didn't know how to say such a thing. Hyuga Zongji is hard to say, but Uzumaki Liushin misunderstood. Since Hyuga Zongji was appointed by Yizan as the acting captain, he walked in the front when he entered the door, and Uzumaki Liushin also recognized Hyuga Zongji as the captain. What is not the master? Doesn't the Anbu squad leader have all the decision-making power in the process of carrying out the mission? He was so angry that he almost said it, but at this moment, the door was suddenly opened, and two girls walked in cautiously. Where have you two gone? Uzumaki Liushin's face was cold and stern, and his anger grew stronger and stronger. He didn't want to offend Anbu, but his daughter was his own, so he couldn't control it if he wanted to beat or scold outsiders. He was very angry, and subconsciously, he poured his anger on his two daughters. I told you yesterday that a distinguished guest came today, and the purpose of the distinguished guest is related to you. I told you not to go out, not to go out. In the end, you still run away. Why did I give birth to your two ignorant daughters? He cursed loudly. His terrifying eyes made Kushina and Mawako tremble all over. As if he had found a vent, he took a sharp step and raised his hand to hit Kushina. You dare! The childish shout carried an inexplicable momentum, which shook the palms of the air to stagnation. Uzumaki Liushin stared at the door with a cold face, and what caught his eye was a child wearing a cat face mask. Who are you? I'm the captain. Chapter 77 _ Who is the kidnapper? Everything is a misunderstanding, hehehehe. In the warm living room, Uzumaki Liushin smiled, as if everything just now was an illusion. This made everyone in Anbu feel incredible. In their impression, except for Lord Hokage, even Lord Danzo did not have such a deep city. Nonsense. Although Danzo is hidden in the roots of Konoha, he is still a healthy cage-level powerhouse, far less gloomy than the old age of the original book, and because Danzo's character is very extreme, once angered, he will change his face. Immediately die with you. I have to say that Sarutobi's methods are stronger than Danzo's in this regard. Although Sarutobi is strong, his personality is relatively peaceful. Generally, people with a peaceful personality can always endure a little bit. Yizan's character is also not good. He usually laughs and laughs, but if he really angers him, he will definitely come back with revenge. Misunderstanding. I don't think it's a misunderstanding, right? If I don't come again, maybe Lord Lushan will do something to my subordinates. Yizan said strangely, without looking at the other party, just lowered his head and tossed the fruit in his hand from time to time. Where, how could I do something to my allies? We in the country of Vortex are small and have been taken care of by Konoha since the first generation. How could I do such a thing? Kushina, Mawako, you say, Dad is right. Quote. Perhaps he felt that Yizan had a special meaning in preventing him from hitting his daughter. Uzumaki Liushin directly pulled the two daughters out to prove it. Kushina turned her head and snorted, but Mawako nodded gently. I'm sorry, Kushina is just like this, and has always been a bad character. I will educate it well, that. I think she's pretty cute. The light voice made Uzumaki Liushin and Kushina stunned, as if they understood something. Uzumaki Liushin smiled and patted Kushina's head gently. You are right, I always think Kushina is a very good daughter, innocent and cute, with a personality well. Sorry, my personality is not good at all. Also, stinky hooligan, even if you say that, I won't be grateful to you. Uzumaki Kushina glared at Yizan, and the matter of being spanked by the other party came to mind again. She pursed her lips tightly, determined to fight with Yizan to the end. Well, when Kushina uttered the 3 words, stinky hooligan, not only Uzumaki Ryushin, but also Hyuga Soji's eyes were wrong. Several Anbu exchanged their eyes quickly, and finally decided to sit firmly on Mount High. At every turn. Because of Kushina's words, the atmosphere in the room eased a lot again, and Yizan didn't bother to explain anymore. It's not a bad thing for the atmosphere to ease. Seeing that Yizan didn't continue to be yin and yang, Uzumaki Ryushin straightened his face again, and then, regardless of his identity, bowed to Yizan, and said solemnly, I hope the captain will help me in this matter. I will be grateful in the future. The bright sun shone, and between the branches of the forest, several dark shadows passed quickly. Zanji, tell me what you think about Uzumaki Ryushin. Yizan rolled his eyes and stepped on the tree to speed up his pace again. Last night, he agreed to Uzumaki Ryushin's request and accepted this additional task. Very shrewd and scheming. After Hyuga Soji finished speaking, he kept his mouth shut. As an Anbu member, he only provided accurate knowledge and did not provide any biased information. Shujing, what do you think? When Yizan said Shojing, he was referring to Nara Shojing. As Konoha's think tank, every member of the Nara family has a good IQ. I have ambition, but I don't have the energy to match it. If the safety of Lord Zan is the first indicator, I suggest giving up this mission. Nara Heidi's words made the other 3 nodded in unison, feeling that there was no need to take this risk. Uzumaki Ryushin's request is to save people, save his only son. Jonin and 4 Chunin who went out with his son did not come back. Only one Genin's valet ran back with tears in his face, and was brought back by the thieves. Genin brought back a letter. If he wanted to save his son's life, he would let Uzumaki Ryushin go to a cave 20 kilometers away to meet alone, but who is Uzumaki Ryushin? Although he loves his son, he also cherishes his own life. In desperation, Yizan and others arrived, which gave him a glimmer of hope. Heidi, don't worry, I won't make fun of my life. Since Uzumaki Ryushin told us where we will meet, let's go and see. This time it's just a way to explore. With Byakugan of Soji, we can go from far away. Observe them. Since the other party can slaughter 2 Jonin, it is definitely not something that ordinary ninjas can do, or they don't know whether it is the land of the land or the land of thunder, and they actually stretched out their hands here. Yizan's words reassured everyone, and it was not until then that they remembered that Yizan was the planner of the collapse plan of the land of water. He had a monster-like wisdom, and he didn't need to worry about himself and others at all. Zan still can't think of it. But there is one thing, Shujing, you need to correct it. Lord Zan, please advise. Well, that's it, I said it, I will call me Xiaoshuan in the future. Lord Zan listens to life, but I will call you from Shojing. As ordered, Zanda. Xiao Zan. The 10-kilometer road is not too far. After a period of time, everyone stood on a small hill. According to the map, the cave 2,000 meters ahead is the meeting place requested by the kidnappers. Our position is condescending and most suitable for Byakugan to perform. Zanji, look at you. Okay. Hyuga Zanji nodded, put his hands together, closed his eyes, a burst of chakra burst out, he let out a low voice, and blue veins appeared in his eyes. Byakugan. After a few seconds, Hyuga Soji withdrew the Byakugan and nodded affirmatively. There are 5 people inside, and looking at their chakra strength, all 5 are elite Jonin. Can you recognize it? Sorry, Byakugan's world is black and white, so it's difficult to judge the identity of the other party, but their chakra flow is more violent. If you just speculate on the land or the land of thunder, I have 90% confidence that it is the land of thunder. Quote. Chapter 78_sealed. That's the way it is, the 5 elite Jonin, who should be the people of the land of thunder. Where's my son? Did you see my son? I didn't see it. There were only 5 adults in the cave, and there was no sign of your son. Could it be? Uzumaki Ryushin opened his mouth in despair, but couldn't say anything. Don't worry, since the other party kidnapped your son and asked you to meet, your son should be safer before you meet. Yizan's words gave Uzumaki a glimmer of hope in Ryushin's heart. He was very concerned about his only son. After all, in this era, men play an important role in all aspects, and the idea of patriarchal is more serious. Lord Ryushin, don't have to be impatient. The other party will kidnap your son unscrupulously because he expects your attitude. They have 5 elite Jonins, and we also have 4 elite Jonins here, plus you Ryushin. It is not impossible to wipe out the enemy completely. Besides, you don't need to worry about your son's whereabouts. We happen to have Yamanaka's masters in our team. Even if there is only 1 head left, we can get all the information about the O5 party. Yizan's calm and confident voice finally made Uzumaki Ryushin feel completely relieved. He glanced at the 4 Anbu beside Yizan, and he was a little curious as to who was the master of the Yamanaka clan. Kushina, who was sitting next to him as a vase, shone with bizarre light, with adoration and anticipation, but when Yizan glanced over, her eyes changed and she snorted coldly. Over the top. Yo, still a little Tsunere tilde. Yizan looked at Kushina teasingly, but didn't say it. Bullying lowly needed a break, and the situation was urgent. No matter how much Yizan liked to play, he knew the priorities. Thinking of the mission, Yizan's eyes suddenly became serious. He looked at Uzumaki Ryushin again, and said with concentration, I heard that seal art is not good at frontal combat. I have always been serious and cautious in my work. In order to ensure the success rate of this rescue mission, I hope Lord Lushan can tell us your strength and ability in detail, and can also let me make a corresponding rescue plan. Ah, rescue plan. Uzumaki Lushan was stunned for a moment, then glanced at Yizan, as if hesitating for something, and paused for a few seconds. However, for the sake of his son, he finally bit Kiba, and a little embarrassed to say the hesitation in his heart, then. If possible, can you let your teammates make plans? Yizan. The bright sun shone, and between the branches of the forest, several dark shadows passed quickly. This is the road I walked yesterday, but it is different from yesterday. Today, there is more Uzumaki Ryushin in the shadow. Sorry, Captain, I didn't mean to. Uzumaki Ryushin apologized to Yizan all the way, but Yizan just had a cold face and didn't say a word. Lord Ryushin, don't apologize. Our captain usually laughs and giggles, but this time you offended him. I suggest you don't talk and wait for the captain to calm down. Nara Shojin comforted him, but it made Uzumaki Ryushin even more bitter. No matter what, he never thought that the captain of the Anbu team who came to the country of Vortex this time was actually the planner of the legendary collapse of the country of water. There were 2 reasons he didn't expect it. First, although Yizan wears a cat face mask, it can be judged from his figure and voice that he is no more than 10 years old, and it is impossible to have such an IQ. Second, the planner of the dignified water country collapse plan, a treasure-level figure, would actually lead a team to this small place. It's no wonder he didn't think of it. After all, with Danzo and Sarutobi fully protecting him, Yizan's identity was absolutely kept secret, and few Konoha knew the identity of the mastermind, let alone the outside world. It's here, keep quiet. The cold voice indicated that the speaker was unhappy. Yizan and Hyuga Zongji stopped first, and the 3 behind them also stopped. Byakugan. Hyuga Zongji directly used the Byakugan to probe the target. After a few seconds, he turned off the Byakugan and nodded with certainty. There are still 5 people, but the chakra on them is more violent. This situation should be caused by emotions. Emotions. It's early summer, and the cave should be rather stuffy. After 3 days of kidnapping, the target can't be seen, so I can't wait. HMPH, this attitude is indeed a ninja from the land of thunder. Yizan smiled, perhaps thinking that Les Jaguars were all brainless muscular men. His face was not as cold as before, but as if thinking of something, Yizan frowned slightly, and said with some doubts, "No, there are no hostages." In the cave, why did they stay in the cave and never come out? Yi Xuanyi said. Everyone's heart suddenly became alert. Yi Zan looked at Hyuga Zongji, and then Hyuga Zongji opened Byakugan again. What did you find? No, nothing but chakra for 5. Impossible, if something goes wrong, there must be a demon, you can take a closer look. You don't need to focus on chakra, you can observe the environment. Although your Byakugan can only see black and white, if the terrain are 640 there's something weird about the cave, you should be able to see it. No, nothing weird. Wait, found it. What did you find? A seal may also be an enchantment, but there is no chakra fluctuation, and the enchantment point is hidden in the grass behind one of the stones. Seal or enchantment? There are experts here. After hearing Hyuga Soji's description, everyone turned their attention to Uzumaki Liushin. Uzumaki Liushin frowned and thought for a moment. As if thinking of something, his face suddenly became ugly. It may be the highest level trigger seal enchantment. What's the use? It's a very complicated seal. There should be many seals buried under the cave. As long as the chakra is transported to the seal point, the seals will surface on the surface, and then form a formation with a few other people, and the entire enchantment will start. Don't explain this, I don't understand, what's the use? I don't know. I don't know. Yizan was stunned, then nodded solemnly. Understood, that is to say, we must not enter this cave. Chapter 79 Caught a big fish. A figure slowly appeared from the horizon, and as the figure moved forward, the appearance became clearer. Boss, someone is coming. In the cave, a tall and strong man of about 25 years old lit up, and the excitement on his face could not be concealed. After 3 days of waiting, someone finally came over. Did you see clearly? Is it him? The man called the eldest was not so much a man as a teenager. He happened to be in a period of voice change and his tone was a bit weird, and he was the weakest among the 5. It's him, I remember his appearance, I can't be wrong. Boss, you said that this mission is completed, what reward will Lord Reikage give us? Reward? It should be some A-rank ninjutsu, maybe there is also S-rank ninjutsu. The teenager seemed a little indifferent, but the eyes of the other 4 lit up, and one of the men in his 30s stood up abruptly and said excitedly, S-rank ninjutsu. If Lord Reikage really wants to reward S-rank ninja I want to learn Hell Assault. Bah, are you the only one who wants to learn Hell Assault? You might not even be able to learn 4 fingers, let alone 1 finger, with that talent. In the entire Kumogakure village, only the boss has this talent. Damn Samui, you have the guts to say it again. Just say it, your talent. Enough. Stop arguing. With a low roar, the 2 who were arguing stopped immediately. They all glanced at the teenager in awe. They were obviously the weakest, but they exuded unparalleled strength. As if he had already gotten used to it. After the teenager stopped the quarrel between the 2, he looked outside the cave seriously and found that Uzumaki Liushin was getting closer and closer, and his body couldn't help but take a step back, half a step away from the barrier. Although Uzumaki Liushin is not good at frontal combat, he has always possessed quasi-shadow strength and should not be underestimated. When he comes in, I will immediately trigger the barrier and solve him as soon as possible in a narrow environment. After the teenager finished speaking, the other 4 also became serious. They hid in the dark cave, but found that, at some point, Uzumaki Liushin had stopped, standing 100 meters away from the entrance of the cave, completely stopped. Why did he stop? Have you seen through the barrier we set up? Impossible, this is the highest level triggered barrier, there is no chakra fluctuation before it is triggered, how could he find out? Why is that? Does Kiba hurt? You're the one who hurts Kiba. Everyone in the cave discussed in a low voice. Outside the cave, Uzumaki Liushin was also a little tangled. He stood there silently and struggled for a long time. Perhaps the emotion of rescuing his son prevailed. He swallowed slightly and said slowly, You guys. A bunch of trash, a bunch of rats that only hide in the dark, Your grandfather, I just looked down on you bunch of trash, the trash of the land of thunder. Uzumaki Liushin's words were slow and slow, causing Yizan, who was hiding on the side of the cave, to helplessly cover his forehead. This fuck is swearing. It's exciting. Do you still care about your identity? Do you still feel that these words are incompetent? I just want to spit on your face. Yizan cursed in his heart, knowing that this challenge was a failure, but in the next second, things took a turning point. Only a few smashing sounds were heard, and a few strong men in the cave rushed out frantically. Trash. Old dog, how dare you call the people of our country of thunder trash? I won't kill you today, I will follow your surname. Surround him. Well, idiots on both sides. Yizan shook his head, seeing Uzumaki Liushin running towards the woods on his side, he waved his hand and rushed out first. Shish. The 5 figures instantly surrounded the opponent, and Uzumaki Liushin also turned around at this moment, and the young man in the lead immediately stopped with a condensed expression on his face. Konoha Anbu. Why is there Konoha Anbu? Uzumaki Ryayama, you don't want your son's life anymore. Huh, damn it. If I kill you, I can save my son's life. Uzumaki Liushin's face was cold and stern. When he finally saw the ninja who kidnapped his son, his terrifying murderous aura erupted completely. At this moment, Yizan didn't do anything. He frowned and looked at the teenager in front of him suspiciously. He always felt that the other party was a little familiar. Familiar. I definitely haven't seen him in my life, that is to say, did I watch anime in my last life? I'm 7 to 9 years older than me. Deduced from the timeline. Yizan kept thinking, and gradually, a familiar person emerged in his mind. Night Moon Eye. Yizan exclaimed, his voice caught everyone's attention, and when the teenager heard Yizan's voice, his face changed suddenly, and his eyes became more vigilant. Anbu boy, who are you? Why do you know my name? Yi was dignified, but Yizan laughed happily. He jumped proudly a few times, twisted his butt pointed to Yi and said, not only do I know your name, I also know that you are the 3rd generation Reikage. My son, Tisk Tisk, the teens are the elite Jonin, worthy of the 4 generations of Reikage in the future. Brothers, we have caught a big fish this time. Yizan laughed. Hyuga Zongji, Uzumaki Liushin and others also changed their faces. Hyuga Zongji and the Anbu's eyes burst with strong murderous intent, while Uzumaki Liushin's face was blue and purple, with murderous aura for a while, and hesitation for a while, erratic. Uzumaki Liushin, what are you still hesitating about? What if the other party is Reikage's son? Don't forget, their final plan this time is to set up a barrier in the cave to ambush you. Yizan shouted, and immediately dispelled Uzumaki Liushin's hesitation. Indeed, since the other party has already achieved this level, he is already determined to kill himself. If he also considers the strength of the Kingdom of Thunder and gives up the opportunity, then he will die today. Man is himself. Thinking of this, Uzumaki Liushin's eyes suddenly burst with terrifying murderous aura, his hands quickly hand-seal, and the quasi-cage level chakra was released with a bang. Tied my son and tried to kill me. Today, all of you in Kumogakure village don't even want to leave. Secret technique. Lightning sealing formation. Boom. Supporting the ground with both palms, the chakra spread rapidly, and in the next second, a giant seal formation covering a kilometer of land appeared at the feet of everyone. Chapter 80 _ Dominant Bully Yayui. Damn it, this is the sealing technique of the Uzumaki clan. At the moment when the giant seal formation appeared, Yizan felt that something was binding him. Not only Yizan, but the chakras of everyone present cannot be converted into thunder attributes. This is a large-scale seal formation that covers indiscriminately. It does not have much impact on Yizan and others, but for the people in Kumogakure village. Oops, boss, run. The 25-year-old strong man behind Yi reacted first and ran away, but Yamanaka Jonin next to Yizan reacted faster. Almost at the moment when the other side ran, Yamanaka's the hand was on him. Ninjutsu. The art of mind and body. Hit. The next second, the brawny man suddenly turned around and hit Yi in the back of the head with all his strength. Boom! A muffled sound, Yi was smashed and flew out. Several other people in Kumogakure village looked at the strong man in disbelief, their eyes full of shock. Samui. Are you crazy? No, it's not me. My body is out of control. Samui yelled, and the moment he finished speaking, he only felt his body loosen, and he was finally able to control it. Boom! Another muffled sound, Samui was kicked flying by another Jonin. He clutched his stomach in pain and almost cried because of his grievance. 723. On this side, Yi-zan gave a thumbs up in admiration. He didn't even think that Yamanaka Jonin alone would disrupt all the opponents. As expected of the secret technique of the Yamanaka clan, it's amazing. After Yi-zan finished speaking, he turned his head to look at the Kumogakure ninja, raised his head, and said arrogantly, "Ninjas of Kumogakure village, give me face, and I'll be captured." Arrogant little devil, courting death. The men in Kumogakure village roared. Their heads were hot, and they didn't run away, and they were about to kill Yi-zan. But how is this possible? Hyuga Soji looked at each other, shot at the same time, and stopped them in an instant. At the same time, the Kumogakure ninja who was kicked by his own people also came to support him. He was aggrieved with tears in his eyes, but strong I can't help but fight with Hyuga Soji and the others. Why 4v4? Seeing that something was wrong, Yi-zan was stunned for a moment, blinked his eyes, and turned to look at Uzumaki Liushin. Lord Liushin, what are you doing? I'm maintaining the lightning ceiling formation, what's wrong? Uzumaki Liushin also blinked his eyes, but didn't understand for a while. What do you mean? This lightning ceiling formation needs to be maintained. Do you want me to deal with the son of the third generation Hokage? Yeah, what's the problem? Yi-zan was speechless, but he also knew that the thunder ceiling formation could not be cancelled. After all, most of the ninjas in Kumogakure village are Raiden Thunder style ninja masters. If Raiden Thunder style is blocked, this group of masters will lose their greatest reliance, and their combat effectiveness will decline directly. As for Yui, it is originally among several people the weakest elite, Jonin, couldn't use Raiden Thunder style. Yi-zan felt that at least he wouldn't be defeated, right? It's no wonder Yi-zan lacked confidence. The only elite Jonin he had ever fought against was Gaidong Yaoyu. He was beaten so badly by the opponent that time, so he didn't have an intuitive and accurate feeling about the strength of the elite Jonin. Anyway, Kumogakure can't use Raiden Thunder style for the time being. With Hyuga Soji and the others' strength, they will be able to kill each other very soon. As long as I can hold Yi, it seems to be no problem. Thinking of this, Yi-zan didn't waste any more time. He immediately took out the chakra knife in his arms, the green wind flashed, and a pair of wings appeared on his back. He shouted, and rushed over. Yui, I'm here. Wow! Yi-zan turned into a gust of wind and approached in an instant. The chakra knife was raised high, and he stabbed the opponent's heart with a fierce knife. Call out. The sharp blade shattered the air. Yi tried her best to smash her mind and dodge Yi-zan's attack. His face was extremely ugly. He was punched in the back of the head by a teammate before, and he almost fainted. When he came over, he was greeted by Yi-zan's blade. Raiden Thunder style unusable, physique. Call out. Qingmeng easily cut the skin and spilled a small amount of blood. Armsen retreated, but without the blessing of Raiden Thunder style, his speed simply couldn't compare to Yi-zan who was using wind wings. Hide, hide, I hide. Soon, Yui was suppressed by Yi-zan. You must know that Yui was taught by 3 generations of Hokage. It is a pure Raiden Thunder style taijutsu ninja. At the age of 16, he can use the Raiden Thunder style chakra mode. Thunder style even surpasses Yi-zan's futon wind style. Of course, Yi-zan is still young, and he is a chunin. His attributes are naturally inferior to the elite Jonin, Yui. After all, Raiden Thunder style has an extremely proficient system in the Kingdom of Thunder, while Yi Zan's futon wind style, because I don't want to follow the routine of Danzo's ninjutsu type ninja, I can only develop by myself when integrating into taijutsu. Call out. A small amount of blood splattered again. Yi Yi bit Kiba tightly, and Yi Zan's chakra knife cut her abdomen. What a proficient futon wind style, what a brilliant body technique. Kid, who are you? Asked while dodging. He didn't expect that he would be suppressed by a Chunin kid, and the other party's futon wind style accomplishment made him extremely frightened. Not only that, but the physical skills shown by Yi Zan are only done by Jonin and even the elite Jonin level Kurigakur ninjas. He has fought with Kurigakur before and is somewhat familiar with this tricky and eccentric attack mode. The fighting styles of the Five Kingdoms have obvious characteristics. Kumogakur is Raiden, Thunder style ninjutsu. Kurigakur is tricky assassination. Konoha is the Konoha style created by the second generation Hokage. Iwagakure is relying on Doden Earth style, let the skin harden. The country of the wind has no physical skills, and it features puppet manipulation. Who am I? I'll give you 3 chances to guess. Yi Zan grinned, spun the short knife in his hand, changed it to an underhand grip, and stabbed it hard. Swish. Another burst of blood floated by. Yayui snorted, her eyes widened, and the chakra without attributes burst out. Don't be too arrogant, kid. With a loud roar, it was like a tiger coming out of its cage, the strong arm blew the wind, and a punch smashed at Yi Zan. Boom. There was a loud noise, and the air vibrated with little ripples. Yi Zan was blown away by the impact, and Yi Yi's fist was pierced by the serrated futon wind style on the chakra knife.